From TMP to TTNG, for sure the cure and those tired meme jeans. Helican Sella and the promise ring. Sunny day, real estate and rights this spring. Prince Twinkle Daddies help keep the dream alive. I constantly thank God for Algernon and Remo Christie front drive. Mineral, snowing, high tide, hotelier, and more. Rio Limo only consists of the DC emotive hardcore. But you gotta admit, Kyle and Ellie really on that emo bullshit. You gotta admit that Kyle and Ellie really on that emo bullshit. Have you heard the tired and disavowed lonely word? Have you heard the disavowed and lonely word? Have you heard the lonely disavowed word? Have you heard the tired and lonely disavowed word?
All right, episode 64 of the E-Word. This is Kyle. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm joined by a bunch of people over in Texas. I'll start with Ellie.
How goes it? Kyle just nodded because he just assumes that I have some rambling opening monologue.
That's true.
Did everyone watch Godzilla vs. Kong yet? No.
All my
We
friends
didn't
got
finish
together
it,
over
but
Discord.
yes.
But I
I feel very confident in saying that yes, I watched it, even though we
Yeah.
did not. We left about 30 minutes on the end.
Shit, then you missed some of the raddest parts of that movie.
I know, I heard
mean-
that. I need to go back and watch the final big fight scene, because that was obviously the best parts of the movie. It was just the fight scenes were pretty cool.
Yes.
We were just sucked in by all the intense family drama.
No, they scrubbed all that out for I think
What?
for the better.
They did. They turned
Yeah.
it into more of this ridiculous schlocky comic book thing.
I mean,
Definitely.
I don't know what
Yeah.
y'all were watching, but I was enamored.
Jake was very drawn in.
I saw Elon Musk tweet about it, and that's all I needed to know to not watch it. Based on what he said on it, I was like, I'm good.
I just think it's crazy that it's it's the highest grossing movie of the whole pandemic. Lots of people actually went to the movie theater to go see it. And two, just people keep tweeting about it, and I know that the last couple MonsterVerse movies were very popular, but I didn't see as many people talking about it, and it still kind of felt like kaiju movies were just for weirdos like me who liked watching men in rubber suits beat the shit out of each other. I don't know. It's a weird bittersweet vibe to see this be probably the highest grossing kaiju movie of all time. I don't know. I don't actually have anything interesting to say. I'm just trying to avoid talking about Delaware. I was
I mean, I feel like it was definitely has a childish vibe to it, where it feels very much like playing with toys. It the whole a lot of the fight scenes they could pivot or pan back, and it's a kid playing with action figures. And then a movie really starts, and it's oh, this makes sense. It has that feel through it. So I don't like that as far as a long run for monster movies. But for this one, it's we know it's Godzilla, it's King Kong. You just want to see them fight. So the fact that they do it in really high rendering detail, broad daylight, just punching and tackling and fucking destroying buildings. It's on that aspect is pretty good. Everything else about it, and the sound was pretty cool. I liked the way
the
Godzilla
sound design was
sounded.
very good.
Yeah,
I think what Ellie's saying is they sold out.
No.
they sold out. Yeah, they used to be this indie thing. It was just 2014 Godzilla.
A24 Godzilla.
The weird thing is that all the Godzilla movies, really all the MonsterVerse movies, because Kong Skull Island 2, they were all directed by indie directors. This one was directed by Adam Wingard, who did he did like a segment for VHS, and he did Blair Witch, and he did You're Next. Yeah.
Yeah, You're Next and The Guest are kind of like oddballs, I feel like, in his filmography, because now, since he's been doing these bigger movies, it's just like some of the worst, like Death Note, Blair Witch is like, those are two of like the worst.
He has also sold his soul, yeah. But then the last one, Michael Dougherty directed King of the Monsters, and then he did Trick or Treat like 10 years ago. And then the first one was directed by Gareth Edwards, who did like an indie kaiju movie called Monsters. I think the Kong movie was directed by the guy who did a movie called Kings of Summer or something like that. I'm not sure, but I know it was like a Sundance kind of movie. But I just think it's weird that they took like these indie kind of guys and then put them in charge of like these huge blockbusters. We should introduce our guests now, probably.
Oh no, we don't have to do that at all. We can just keep talking. It's fine. I think people know who I am just off my voice, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm kidding. I'm totally.
I'm pretty famous, you know.
All right, this is the Record Setter episode. So we got a bunch of people spread out of two places. So I'll let y'all introduce yourself so we can get familiar with the voices.
I'm Kyle. I play guitar, the lead guitar stuff, and I am in Denton.
I'm Judy. I play guitar as well and sing. I'm also in Denton. Just a little bit away from Kyle.
Are we all going to say where?
Yes. Say where you're at. Say where you're at.
Sitting next to. Okay.
That's how
I'm Jacob. I'm Judy's sibling, and I play drums in Record Setter, and I live in the bedroom next door to hers in Denton.
I'm not in Denton, but I was kind of close to Denton this weekend. I went up to Dinosaur Valley.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. I waded into the water and put my foot inside of a dinosaur track, which
I was gonna say it's probably wet, huh?
Yeah, it was like a
lot of times
spiritual
it's totally
experience.
dry. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Going back to the kaiju thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after seeing that movie, you get
they were real.
appreciation for it.
Yeah, at one point, Godzillasaurus did walk the earth. That is what Godzilla canonically evolved from. is the Godzilla.
Yeah.
No, you guys are laughing. That's a thing. That's like a real thing that is explained in the movies in the 70s.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen. I'm not a huge monster movie person. I like what is it? Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah, the
Toho movie. I like the
1958 one.
50s.
Yeah.
I like the ones in the 50s, kind of. But it's definitely just kind of watching the miniatures and that kind. I just like that charm of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about Record Setter stuff in this episode, as well as run through some news that's accumulated throughout the couple of episodes.
Okay.
Speaking of those episodes, we put out the episode with Brandon from Home Is Where a couple weeks ago.
Yep. We listened to that on the way back from Chicago, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we all listened to at least definitely me and Kyle. I think I've heard every episode, maybe a couple I've dropped, but I've listened to y'all since way back.
Back when we were the TMZ of emo.
Yeah. Definitely. Those were my favorite episodes, like 0 and 1 and 2. Like it was like, this is great. Like it was
just,
and then I just
when they were just chaos.
And talk with Ellie more about it after.
and now my Reddit and my Discord are both deleted.
Wow.
I cannot
Freedom.
remember the last time I got on my Songs by Judy account. I have like a trash account. I just kind of scroll through sometimes every once in a while, but yeah, I think it was like well before we put out I Owe You Nothing that I kind of popped back on, and I literally posted. I posted something like, "Hey, been a while. Like we're about to put out some stuff, like whatever." And a couple of people said something like responded like they knew like who I was, which was weird because it had been like 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it was. I think that was the last time. I just can't remember when that was. So funny to think about how much time I used to spend on our emo though back in the day.
I will say, right before I nuked my account, I did finally take listen to the subreddit's official podcast, The E Word, out of the sidebar.
Damn.
I was like, that's been sitting there for too long.
Too long.
Yeah. I need to cut this umbilical cord once and for all.
Just sever it. It's fine.
I was just saying, you have a question here about our emo, right?
Yeah, I mean, just because
Buried somewhere in there.
in the Stereo Gum article there was
Yeah.
a lot of like Reddit talk, which is funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I always end up talking about it, but it was just like, it was such a part of like when we put out Purge. It was like our emo just kind of became like this thing, and we met people like actually in Denton. Dan from Sylvania specifically was like the first person, and his partner Maritza ran a house venue, Casa de Monstros, and they were like awesome. And they immediately were like, we want to put you on shows, and we had never met them before because they're like a kind of different wave of bands and stuff from when we were a little bit more active before. And so like through them we met all these like younger bands and stuff, and we played a show with like Mall Cops, and then the next show we played with Prince Daddy, and everyone is like, oh yeah, they're on our emo and blah blah blah. And so it's just like, oh okay, so it just kind of seemed like this thing, and then it was like other bands that people talked about on Reddit and stuff.
This
so
would have been like 2016.
2017. It would have been
Well, the
2017.
Purge came out in 2017, but like the like introduction to that stuff started happening.
Oh, that's
like,
true. Yeah,
before
yeah.
we kind of released.
That
it,
is
so-
true. We had a couple shows before we really.
Yeah, because we're old as fuck.
Yeah, we're all 40 actually.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that
We just
that
like
like is
playing
like
shows.
the ideal place to start, because it's like when I first went to revisited your Bandcamp page last year around like the release of the album. It's like your first music on there goes back to 2014, which is like it's not unheard of, but like when you're putting out your first major release, like usually your first like scrappy project is like 2 or 3 years before, but y'all go back
Yeah.
like to 2014.
Yeah, this has remained the scrappy project, like because we started like me and Jake have
Actually,
been playing
Coming up
under.
on 10 years.
Yeah, this is our 10th year under the name Record Setter, like November this
Christ.
year. Like 2011, I was like 17. Yeah, because me and Jake played in a Christian band, kind of like we were doing like original like worship music and stuff, playing metalcore shows, and we like Christian metalcore shows, and then we were kind of like the worship band in the middle. It was fun, but that fizzled out. And me and Jake just started this 2-piece on a whim, and we wrote like 4 songs in a week and went and played a show. And I've said it before, I think I said it on the Ian Cohen thing, that we were playing like very much like Joyce Manor ripoff. It was 2011 that self-titled came out, and like I was in love with it. And it was just like, before that I had gotten into like the Pizza album and like Penimento, and then I got into like, I guess, quote unquote, real hardcore or like straight edge. Because like I was always into deathcore. Like I was just into really heavy music. And then
Wait, were you into Impending Doom?
Yeah,
The
oh, for
leading
sure.
Christian deathcore band? Yeah.
for sure.
Despised icon.
But yeah, like Under Oath was like my favorite band for the longest time. And then I got my friends and freshman and sophomore year of high school, I started getting into hardcore, like Shipwrecked and Have Heart and stuff like that. But yeah, that Joyce Manor self-title, my senior year of high school, it was like, that's all I wanted to do. I was just like, this is so good and like fun and loose. And I know that review just came out, and that's it's on my mind as well, like seeing that revisited, and everyone's kind of talking about it again, and it's just so good. And so I was just trying to write songs like that, but nothing close, like not even close, like but it was very pop punky. And then we slowly shifted, when we got Kyle, we slowly shifted into kind of that kind of title fight, basement worship kind of sound that came out on Dim. And then, yeah, we played a bunch of shows for a little while, and then we just kind of stopped. I just kind of stopped.
We had 3 EPs before Dim came out. From
Yeah,
like
like
2011 to
little
2014.
Little self-released demos. They're unfortunately bad. Like they're like, I had no idea what I was doing as far as recording goes. So they sounded just awful. Like, but we like burnt CDs of it and like printed out little shitty paper covers and slipped it in the jewel case and everything. Mostly handed them out for free.
All for free.
Yeah, that's all we've really ever done.
We literally could not give them away. I think I still have.
Please take this.
Yeah.
Oh, what's kept you like together this whole time? I feel like every band just like wants to break up after they don't get signed to like Counterintuitive Records after 3 years and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of sad, honestly. But I don't really know. I guess like really it was just like I didn't really think about. Yeah, I've never really thought that like I was ready to like have any attention. You know, like I've always thought that like we played bad sets and like my songs like weren't that good and like I was trying, but it was like whatever. And Record Setter has always been just kind of like a musical journal for me. Like it's just kind of wherever I'm at in my life, it's just kind of there, and the music kind of reflects that as well. So I'm sure it'll change as we continue to go on. But I don't know. This feels like very good to do. Like Nothing feels like this is the record that I wanted to put out for sure. But yeah, I think what has like kept us together is just playing shows is fun, and me and Jake are siblings.
Yeah.
Kyle's a good friend, and it's like
we're very fortunate to live in a town that's just like
there's lots of local shows.
Yeah.
We have lots of friends in the scene.
Lots of people coming through. Like it's like
a lot of
local
touring
shows,
bands.
A lot of like we meet a lot of new people.
Yeah, a lot of
just
touring
locally.
bands.
So
There's a college there, right? So I'm assuming that like
Yeah.
that like
Two
trades
colleges.
people out after 4 years and everything. Yeah.
right.
But after because we did fizzle out, and it was like felt like we were a dead band, like a dead project, and I started working on solo stuff, kind of like acoustic indie stuff and whatever.
Well, you move.
And then I was gonna move, and so the guys were like, "Oh, we should do something with Michael Briggs before you move, because like we've been here this whole time, we've never recorded with Michael Briggs yet. We've always wanted to, because everyone in Denton records with Michael Briggs." And so I was like, "Oh, I'll try to write like an EP," and that's how I wrote Purge, and then we recorded that, and then there was just this kind of like new interest. Like when we put it out, because I think the music was a little bit better, our performances were a little better, and recording with Michael made it way more listenable and stuff. I think people just like liked it more, and so it was like, oh, like, and then people were asking us to play shows, and they were really fun shows. There were people that knew the words, and we were just like, oh yeah, well, like, yeah, I guess let's keep
There's definitely the
playing.
most like collaborative stuff we had done too, with all four of us.
Yeah,
we
that's
actually
true. That's true.
We had like a full lineup that wrote that whole,
Yeah, because I was writing most of the parts on Dim, and then Kyle would write some parts and teach me them, and I would write a lot of the parts and teach them to him and stuff. And we don't really operate that way anymore. It's like I write songs and then I show them to them, and I kind of trust them implicitly just to like add their stuff and make it better. So
She yells at me if I fuck up.
yeah.
It's not how I imagined it. No, but yeah, it's definitely more collaborative, and like y'all were saying, the Denton scene, even when it's like, how scenes kind of are like a roller coaster, like up and down. Even at its low point, it's still pretty busy here. You can still find like a few shows a month, even at its lowest, to play. So I think that was always the thing, like playing shows all the time to stay a band. Like I feel like as soon as you stop playing shows, you get a little bit. That's what we've seen a lot of bands break up during the pandemic. It's just there's no shows going on. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of breezed through a bunch of those things, but like I guess like going back to like Denton, I feel like the thing that I always hear is like you got to play Denton, or like there's a really good supportive like DIY culture in Denton. But I feel like the thing that I don't hear is like there's X, Y, and Z band that's like from Denton. I don't know, like is that like an accurate read on it?
Maybe.
I feel like there's
From my side, it's like there's
definitely like legends.
two nights.
Two
in
Nights is like
Westbourne,
the one, yeah.
and
Big Hand, Big Knife. I'm trying to think. Bowling for Soup. I mean, what are we fucking talking about?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
way
they're
back
from
in the
there.
day.
They still live in
No.
Denton.
No,
But no,
but
okay, going
yeah,
back
it is more of like a local scene, I think. I guess there's a psych band, Acid Carousel, that I think they're kind of making a name for themselves.
Rose Garden
from
Funeral
here.
Party.
Rose Garden Funeral Party.
Lorelei K.
Yeah, Lorelei K is definitely making a name for herself. But yeah, I think it is a like a healthy local scene with booking and enough stages where like a lot of different touring acts can come through, and it's not just emo, like, because there's like
Well,
hip hop
the
and
local
metal
bands
and
have a draw too. Like,
yeah,
that's-
it's like, I don't know, people show up and like people drink, and I don't know, I'm not sure. It's a I guess like a healthy local scene to pass through, and it's like a good show on the road. Like that's what we always hear is like that people, they make the most money that night. It's the most people turn out. People know the words. It's like, oh, this is like a real show, kind of in the middle of this desert
Long
run of a
haul.
tour.
Yeah,
like
you're in Texas, where it's like
from.
everything's a 5-hour drive away to the next
Yeah.
town or whatever. So it's like this little oasis up there.
Yeah.
And it's also like a really vibrant house scene too. So like for DIY kids, I think it's always cool where they maybe are coming from places where they've just played a bunch of empty bars. They're now playing like a packed out living room. It's just like a pretty, like you said, a healthy scene. Just
It's also only like a 30-minute, 45-minute drive from Dallas and Fort Worth, like two big cities. So like if this touring band, DIY touring band's not stopping through Dallas, it's only like 30, 45 minutes to get up there.
The show that got shut down before they even played.
God, oh my God, yeah.
What's that all about?
It was at a
They
house.
played a house
Yeah,
venue
that was
and-
back when Best Buds had like just come out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was way back.
Speaking
just blowing up.
I think it was out. I think it had been
Speaking of,
just
again,
starting to
speaking
catch
of
on.
local bands, Sad Cops is another local band
Yeah.
that has some.
Yeah.
They're making some waves.
Yeah, Stack Cop's a good band.
Or have
Kind of
made
indie,
waves.
kind of like an indie emo type.
But that's whose set got shut down.
Yeah,
Opening for the
yeah.
Mom
Stack
Jeans.
Cops was opening for Mom Jeans, and they kind of notoriously, I guess, have a very decent draw, and so and then Mom Jeans as well. And this house was just way packed, and
The
was
parking
it
on the
noise
street.
complaints or something?
I think it was
No,
the parking
might
on the
be
street.
hyperbolic, but I want to say it was like something like 200 kids descended like on this street,
Yeah, no, it was.
and we're just like parking in front of people's houses and like hanging out in the front
Like,
yard,
3
which is
blocks
like
away.
a big problem. And and so it's just like a matter of an hour, and cops were there.
Yeah.
like
I
a
think they
50
relocated the
50-person
show to another house though.
A 50-person show is not a big deal, but you got you got people. Mom Jeans, a bigger band, blowing up at the time. You got people driving from out of town who don't know the scene, don't know where to park or how to act at a house show or whatever.
Yeah,
just
people
rolling
who
up.
have never been to a house show before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pre-pandemic actually, the same person who hosted the Mom Jean show hosted Norma Jean on their fucking house show.
Oh yeah. I remember
Oh
that.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
That rules. I was gonna say though, because like I don't want to gatekeep. Be like, oh yeah, you're going to see the Mom Jean show. You never saw a fucking house show before in your life. And fucking
Idiot.
loser, don't know how to act. But also, I really think that like your first house show should be a band that like 3 people ever have heard of.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then, you get to like learn the ropes without like a whole lot of pressure of there being like a shit ton of people there. And like the less people who are there, probably the more people that you're like gonna be able to talk to, because there's
And
a
I
lot
think
of people
it's
at a
also
house show.
more representative of the typical house show in Denton when
Yeah.
there's like 10 people standing around.
my first house show in Denton was actually watching Kyle perform.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Cactopus
remember.
Harvey.
Oh yeah,
Cactopus Harvey.
Cactopus Harvey the Third. It was like a one-off project me and my roommates did for just a house party, basically, in like 2009 or 2010. Lots of video game samples in Ableton, time stressed, and me just yelling into a microphone, and
Yeah.
it is weird. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Sounds good to me.
yeah. Sounds like Denton.
But like, is there like total like lore about like 2 nights? Like, do they still play shows and stuff like that?
They played our release show.
Oh, that's
Like
tight.
we filmed a.
We filmed a set of
an
theirs.
instrumental set only.
Yeah, no vocals. But I mean, should we announce?
We can say it.
I mean, I guess
It's not
Parky is joining us
Whoa.
actually in Record Setter,
we
which
just
is
had our
super
first
exciting.
practice with them last
Um,
Saturday.
Yeah, so that'll be wild. We'll have 3 guitars.
Yeah.
That's the plan for now.
Holy shit.
That y'all kind of did make that obvious via Twitter, just like
yeah.
the Twitter.
Yeah, we
bias.
just haven't fully announced, I guess. But yeah, we had
Right,
practice with
right.
them, and they're the best. And I guess just to speak a little bit more to that, it is weird because like whenever I moved up here, it was like we played a show with Two Nights probably, or one of their bands, but they really just like blew me away. And like it was so intimidating, like how good of musicians they were compared to how bad a musician I am. And it was like they like I don't even know if they know it either, but like it's like they really like put a fire under me to like try to get better at guitar and stuff. And like their playing and their sound of like Fleshborn and Two Nights, they used to play in a band called Square Business.
It's really
like
good,
I loved their fucking music so much, and now they're like joining Record Setter, and they like brought a riff, and like it's just wild. It's so cool. It's so cool. So yeah, we're super excited for how that's gonna add to the sound.
But to go back to Kyle's question about does Two Nights still play shows, we try to drag them out into shows whenever we can.
Yeah, we asked them to
Like,
play
we asked
stuff.
Yeah,
all
if
the
we're
time.
putting together a show, it's like, all
Much
right,
to
let's
their
ask them.
chagrin. But Miles is going to be a dad, so
Yeah.
like that's a big change for him, you know, going forward. But
Yeah, and I think Parky is over playing 2 night sets.
Yeah.
There's this long-awaited, long-rumored split that's supposed to come out and be the last thing, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's ever gonna come out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just like done. You know, it's
Right.
they've been doing it for a while, and they started when they were both a lot younger. I feel like
We'll go ahead and call it here. Record Setter killed 2 Nights.
Yeah.
Dethroned.
no, definitely not.
Absolutely fucking not.
Definitely
Time of death, 9:57 a.m. Central Standard Time.
But yeah, 2 nights is the shit. Like their sets are the best. I feel like people sometimes like another band like of the kind of earlier in their revival that's a touchstone is like 1994 that people always
Yeah.
talk about. You hear older bands always mention them, and then you listen to the record and you're kind of like what? But I mean I love the music, but like you kind of have that reaction to it. But then if you imagine like if I saw this live though, this is a very different
This is
live
nutty.
experience.
Yeah.
I feel like 2 nights
Same
falls
thing.
in that kind of realm where it's like you listen to the record and they're great songs, but you really won't understand how fucking good they are until you see a set. Like because it's so
You
different,
got to hear Miles slap that bell.
and you have to hear the volume. Like
Yeah, the volume is
Parky's rig
nutty.
is so loud. Like
It's absolutely
it's
crushing.
it's insane. They're so good. They're so good.
When we were that Joyce Manor knockoff band, somehow we were playing a lot of shows with them in like
Yeah.
2012, 2013 era at like 1919, the venue in Fort Worth, and a few Denton shows too.
Oh yeah. Someone did mention Mimi Siku in there, but that band is really
good.
really
I forgot to even say
underrated.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mimi Siku's great. The Thrill of Living is like amazing. I had that tape in my car. I don't listen to that much music really, but I just would always have that tape going.
It's like there's like 5 people in Denton that made like 8 fucking projects that are like foundational to why we play music in the DIY scene here.
Yeah.
It's pretty and yeah, Parker, Miles, Donovan, Cade.
I don't know.
That's
I'm gonna stop
everyone, but-
listing names because we'll forget people. But yeah, like Parker and Miles. I mean,
Monster rigs and
Amazing.
monster drummers.
Yeah,
I had to just look it up to like double check to make sure it was like the 2 nights people, but fucking Father Figure.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That Father Figure record is so good. Fleshborn, yes.
Yeah, Fleshborn's like the best screamo band ever.
They
Those
did
vocals.
that with Carnier.
Pioneer, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Black and Screamo. I remember writing about that in like 2015, 2016. But
And the Ostraka split.
Yeah, you should check out this other band called Nosk. Nosk.
what?
Yeah.
Word.
Members of Fleshborn.
Hell yeah. Kyle, you wanted to ask about Ian Cohen?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess touching a little bit on like the latest record before going into that, like I know like you already said that like everything that you've done is scrappy, but like, and I feel like that's something that we talk about everyone who's been on here talking about their latest record, but like, was there a different like mindset like going into this record? Like, did you even know that like Topshelf was gonna put it out going into recording I Owe You Nothing or anything like that?
There was absolutely a different mindset going in, but no, we didn't know.
We knew we wanted to pitch it.
Yeah, we had like the thought, just kind of this ambiguous thought of maybe someone would pick it up and like we would try to send it to some people and stuff because we were feeling good about it, but we didn't have, besides just like thinking of Topshelf, just because I've listened to Topshelf forever. They've been around since like 2007. You know, that Defeater album came out, I think, in 2007. So, like, that's kind of whenever I would have been aware of it. So, I've, like, since I was a kid, I've, like, listened to Topshelf music and stuff. And, like, they're way different now, like, their roster and stuff, but it's still great music.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, besides, like, just that thought of, like, maybe Topshelf, maybe Chillwavve, maybe Acrobat.
There was like one tweet that like
right,
put it in our mind that they were watching.
That was before we recorded, right?
Yeah, it was. That they tweeted something about someone said something about Sweela Loon, and the Topshelf Twitter account responded saying, I don't remember how they worded it, but it was they linked the Purge album, and I was like, and they added us too.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like they just like fully shouted us out, like, and someone asking for a Sweela Loon, more like new Sweela Loon, they're like this, and I was like, what the fuck? Like it like blew my mind open.
It was like 2008, 2019.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2019.
So there were like little things like that where it's like, oh, they followed us, oh, they liked this post, and so it was like maybe they would be interested. And I remember when we recorded, who did I send it to? I sent it to Chillwavve and I sent it to Marty, but more just to like get their opinion. And they both came back like very flattering things to say. And they were both like, yeah, they were kind of both like, yeah, I think Topshelf would like be good for it, you know, whatever. I was like, okay, like, because I was thinking maybe one of them would be like, oh hell yeah, would you like be interested, whatever. But they were like, yeah, I think Topshelf would handle this well, and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, you know, like let's I guess we'll do that.
I think because Topshelf probably has more resources than those labels, just like by a hair, you know.
Sure.
Marty's so cool though. We really want to do an active stable episode.
I love them so much.
They're putting out so much shit right now that's so good.
It's
like,
crazy. It's like basically just like keep my credit card on file with you guys.
Yeah. auto charge me the next release.
Yeah.
But
so
like,
the key with Topshelf is just like persistence then, because Kevin keeps liking my tweets but won't follow me back.
yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, they're like.
Well, and then he DM'd you.
Yeah, when we got a lot closer, when we got a lot closer, I was gonna say though, there was a different mindset. Like I after we put out Purge and I saw how people kind of took it, because what people need to understand is that Purge, like I threw Purge together. Like it was like boom, boom, boom. Like I was just like throw it together, throw it out, vomit the words out. I don't really care that much. It's a breakup album. We recorded it
wrote
2
one
days.
of the songs like 2 days or a day before we went into the studio.
Yeah. You know, it was just like it was not that thought out. And then but people's reaction to it was like, we would play shows and people would be like, how did you like make it all flow together and stuff? And I'm like, I didn't. Like, you know, like I didn't really, like, I don't know, like I didn't hear it the way that people were hearing it. And so I was like, if people think that's good, like I can write like way better like screamo than that. And so it's just like I'm gonna try, like I'm gonna actually like try to like do something better. I'm actually like think about my lyrics, this, that. You know, there was like many things where I was like, I'm gonna actually try to do something, because it seems like people like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then there was this little blip, like just a precursor, where I was doing some solo stuff called Gushing. I don't know if both of y'all listened to it. Ellie, I know you did.
Yes.
Back in the day. And I was just doing that by myself. And I posted on Reddit, and it was like the top post of that day, or when I posted it. I think I called it Sparkle Scrams.
Yes,
Sparkle
that was
Scrams.
100% why I clicked on it.
Yeah, I called it Sparkle Scrams, so it was a good
Buzzword.
title. But yeah, it got attention, and people were really fucking with it. So I was like, okay, so I'll just do straight screamo thing. Like I just want to do that. I'm tired of trying to kind of fit this post grunge / fake heavy. I'll just do a straight really emotional screamo album, and hope that people like it. So yeah.
And then we recorded it twice.
We did record it twice.
Which
So-
I feel like plays a big part
Yeah.
in how it sounds this second
Yeah.
time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Ian thing for Stereo Gun mentioned that you spent 6 months picking it apart or whatever.
Yes, cause we went in early 2020,
Right before the pandemic.
before everything hit over here, and we were recording it, with because we did Purge and these 2 split songs with Michael, and we've done the Dab Gene stuff with Michael as well. He's very fast, and we very comfortable with him, but we decided to go to a different place, and we got done with it, and then the pandemic happened and stuff just slowed down, mixes coming back, everything just slowed to a halt. And so we had all this time of listening and analyzing, and it's nowhere near releasing, but we're listening to it and stuff, and it's oh, I wish we'd have done that or done this or done that. And so we were feeling really kind of
And the people we
half love with it, kind of stressing about it.
Yeah.
And we were just we gotta wipe this. I'm not gonna put out another album where I feel kind of so
Not
about it,
100%
and
about
so
it,
it's
yeah.
we're gonna wipe this and we're gonna do it again. And
the people we had recorded with initially were in the process of moving as well. Moving.
So were y'all. Y'all were in the process of
And
moving as well.
Yeah, we were also moving house. Well, I
Yeah.
meant after we recorded, they moved that studio. So they were in the process of moving their studio. So we just went back with Briggs, with someone that we were more familiar with, and took a second swing at it. And I don't know. To me, it sounds like a much more confident
yeah.
take. And
I think it's kind of rare. It's hard to explain because it's a lot of bands do pre-production, bigger bands and stuff do pre-production, so it doesn't sound that wild of working on an album for so long or recording it twice and then doing the actual and all that stuff. But for a DIY band, for us to stand there and do the take, you know what I mean, twice, and you have that opportunity twice where it's this is the one, because we didn't know we were gonna have to go do it again.
Yeah.
The first time, we thought we were doing it, and then the second time it's okay, we are doing it. So it's to have that experience twice with the same music is really weird. And yeah, it changed. The other one, the original one, I feel it was a lot more open. It was much
definitely
noisier,
Airy.
much noisier, harsher, shrill. A lot less low end. And then with Michael, it tightened up more, it got a little chuggier, and then we decided to go with this bass forward mix that hits it does kind of if you're actually seeing a band live, yeah, it really kind of changed. But I'm very happy with it, honestly.
I'm happy with it too.
Yeah,
Hell yeah,
it's really good.
I'm glad that anyone's happy with it, honestly. All this screaming and just constant, just nonstop kind of. There's no chorus. There's not a verse. There's not a chorus. There's not a bridge. There's nothing.
I remember sending demos to some of my friends who I use as kind of a sounding board, and that was like one of the, not critiques or complaints, but they were just talking about they could not figure out where it started and stopped.
Yeah, what is
It's
this
just like,
structure?
yeah, it's like listening to it blind without any context or any song titles or anything like that. They were just like, this sounds really cool. I don't know what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at.
The more I've listened, the more I've just kind of thought about how like anyone who comes to whatever like subgenre of emo has to like the album though, because it's like it's definitely like hitting like the scrams people, the new grunge, and like also like, you know, your title fight people who want a chorus or like catchy shit are also gonna find shit there.
Yeah, it's definitely like moments. Like, I mean, I kind of wrote it the way that it is, but I was working on it for 3 years. I mean, I started writing it immediately after we put out Purge. Like, it was like I was working on Someplace. You know, I remember like just that just like coming in, like, yeah, I want the intro of the album to be that, to just you know, super fast, like off the bat. I don't want to do the little acoustic intro like Purge and stuff. I just want to start, you know, and like whatever. I was like working on it. So for 3 years, you know, I'm like putting this stuff together. So I like chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped and like curated down more and more. I wanted it to just be like as dense as possible, because like I don't like repetitive songs. Like I don't listen to much intro, verse, chorus, verse music like that. I like more formless stuff, more free-form stuff. And so I just wanted it to be like as dense as possible. Just like if someone really connects with it, they're going to listen to it 1,000 times. So it's like, I don't need to repeat this part 10 times. It's like, they're going to listen to it 1,000 plus, you know, million times. So it's like, even if it's only 15 seconds that this part happens, it's like, it happens. And you know what I mean? I wanted it to be like that. I wanted it to constantly be going by. And then just a few moments of like, rest, you know, just to take a breath really, and then keep going.
Yeah, hell yeah. I guess going back to like Top Shelf stuff though, like I think a lot of people had the reaction of like, oh shit, Top Shelf signed an emo band, because it had been such a long time since they picked up someone new that was emo. I mean, like I know they put out like the Golfer record, and like Standards is more just straight up math rock, but like and I think that caught a lot of people's attention. It's like, oh, it's not like a bedroom indie artist. It's
that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool
to be that pick too.
Yeah. It kind of fits us, you know. We like, there was a show that sticks out in my brain and probably always will. We were playing old music off DIM, like it was way back in the day, and so it was just the loudest, least dynamic, just 10 from the beginning to the end, streaming, feedback, everything going crazy, the whole set. And we played a show in J&J's basement with Free Cake for Every Creature, if y'all know that band.
Yeah.
It was like the chillest, sweetest, like lo-fi kind of bedroom act, and like we opened and we just like played that, and it was like the most awkward like kind of setting and stuff, but we still talked to him afterward a little bit and stuff. So and
nice.
Like it was great. So like genre clashing, like being the aggressive.
We played we've always played Crying, that chip tune.
Yeah, we played a when was that?
Told Slant, Crying. That was 2015. I think it was 2015.
With Told Slant and Crying, which was another, you know,
Definitely
we were
not
just
our crowd.
Yeah, we were just like there, just on 10. Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say Told Slant and Crying is a very 2015 bill.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think did Mimi Siku play that show too?
I think so. Yeah.
I think they might have actually.
I'm not sure.
Talking about Mimi Siku, but
Told Slant's new album is really good though.
I bought it. That's one of the two
good.
vinyls that I bought. 2 vinyl records. Excuse me. Those are one of the 2 records I bought. Was that, and then In Spite Of.
Nice, good picks.
I feel like somewhere in between is records that are between
Yes.
Told Slant
Yeah.
and For Your Health. We're in there somewhere.
within the vast gulf between.
Yes. Yes.
all the movies.
That's the ground we aim to cover.
Yeah, that's what honestly. Empty space that Squidward occupies in that episode, that time travel episode.
SB-129.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do kind of think of like the current emo scene spectrum as like Origami Angel to Record Setter to For Your Health is like the you know.
Oh, amazing.
And then all the way over on the left side is like Goldie's Anxiety, that kind of thing.
Right.
Which is under our related artists on Spotify,
Right.
apparently. So,
Really?
Thanks, Ian Cohen.
yeah, because
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
that's
just because some
Cohen.
shared playlists and stuff or something. I'm
Oh.
not sure. It's so funny though.
I think we do have to talk about your number one fan though, which is Ian Cohen. I think he's turned a lot of people on to you guys, and like I feel like there was like the end of last year. I feel like every chance he got to plug you guys, he was plugging
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah,
Oh.
leading up to that release, he is definitely on the tweets.
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact
On the
that
tweets.
he
Yeah,
was
what?
just laid up at home with a broken foot for
No.
a while.
Oh, no.
So I think he just had nothing to do but listen and tweet and stuff. So that's a joke, but no, it was very flattering and sort of unexpected. And,
Yeah, it kind of happened. It happened the same way, kind of like with the Top Shelf thing, where it was just like we were getting ready to go record the first time, and oh yeah, that's what it was. I made a little tweet. I was like, I'm gonna start posting some one-liners out of the lyrics for this album. And the first one I posted, I think it was "I'm not a man, but I'm still a person," and it got like 10 or 15 likes or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know. And Ian Cohen retweeted like that parent tweet or whatever, and it was like, "Stoked to hear the new album. Your previous material was fire." And I was like, "What? Why? When and why have you heard any of our previous material? Like, what?" It was very weird. But that was like the first interaction, and then there was just a couple things where he was like, "This new record setter is going to be good. I'm looking for this new record setter," like that kind of thing. And then I just sent him the SoundCloud link
Yeah.
on Instagram, and he listened to it, and then he wanted to write the
Stereo Gum
do
feature.
the little interview. Yeah, do the interview thing, which was wild. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I can always tell when Ian's about to start tweeting about a band because he'll DM me like, "Oh, this band's in my DMs, they're fire," and then fire out the tweet. It's great.
That's funny.
That's so funny. Yeah, he's been great though. Like I think he's definitely turned a lot of people on to us, help move some records for sure.
Oh yeah, and continue to like shout it out like on the IndieCast. And
Yeah.
He
Like-
says we're slept on, which is really
Hard to
funny from
believe.
our side
Yeah.
because it definitely doesn't feel like it. But I guess we don't even have 1,000 follows on Twitter, so like I guess that's like pretty
That's the
small.
metric.
But like for us, it's like we fucking got pressed to vinyl. We pressed Purge and I Do Nothing. It's
yeah,
like
that was crazy.
6 variants across the board, tapes and CDs. We have merch coming. We played Audio Tree. It's like this is as big as it's ever
All in
been
a fucking
for me.
pandemic.
Yeah, in the middle of everything that's going
Yeah.
on, you can't even tour. This is as big as it's ever been. Like that, this is the least slept on we've ever been. Like for sure, 100%.
Still got the Brooklyn vegan shout out. You were in like
Yeah,
a bunch
Yeah,
of
y-
What's
You
their
checked
name?
all the
Andrew-
boxes off.
Andrew
Andrew Stacker, I
Sacker.
think
Yeah.
is how you pronounce it.
I think that is
Yeah.
specifically who's been kind of
Super flattering. I've been following Brooklyn Vegan for a while.
a long time.
Didn't
I have
Jeremy
been
Bohm
joined-
shout you out too?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Who?
Jeremy Bohm.
Jeremy Baum.
Yeah.
On that what was it, Kerrang or something, I think.
Yeah, he did like a kind of
Yeah.
curated list of like stuff that, but like very very generously like mentioned us alongside with a couple other artists that he was just like, I don't have time to go into them, but here are these bands, and just like spit. I don't remember who all he spit out. For Your Health was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The main feature was like covering like Soul Glow, Regional Justice Center,
Mhm.
Right.
all that type of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Also,
Yeah, Touche, obviously big fan. Big fan of Touche. Have been forever. Yeah, a lot of the vocalists like tweeted that they bought the fucking record.
Weird, wild.
And it was
that
so
that
weird.
fucking rules.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I bought this
part of
and
their, like,
that. I
Bandcamp
think it was
Friday.
that and Soul Glow
Yeah.
is what they bought for their Bandcamp Friday, and they tweeted about it, and I was like, I don't remember how I worded the tweet, but it was like, I'm gonna go back to my 17-year-old self and say that this person's gonna buy your music one day, like whatever, like I don't know, like it was just so weird because I've listened to Touche since I was like 15, and I'm sorry, La Dispute. I obviously always pair them together, still from back in the day when they were so close and stuff, and the split and touring together. and stuff. But
Yeah.
I've listened to La Dispute since I was like 15, 16 years old. So for them to just like tweet about my band, yeah, it's very surreal because it's all the
Surreal,
stuff
yeah.
that I was into as a kid
Yeah.
and Top Shelf and stuff, and now I'm 28 and it's like it's the same fucking people. But they're like emailing me or like liking my tweet, and so it's very surreal. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we gotta do for cleanup before we head into the news block?
I just kind of want to know, like, what's the pipeline to Audio Tree like now? Because I feel like all of our peers are like now driving
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
halfway across the country
So
just to play a quick set.
Our fantastic boss, Regina Bergeron, manager, just like reached out on our behalf and they just scheduled. It was kind of like and I don't know if that's because of the pandemic that they're just like, fucking anyone, please come, like let us make content,
Yeah.
you know, because they have a lot of stuff coming out and a lot of stuff scheduled, you know, and they just opened up like a couple new studios, like one in Nashville and I forget where else, but LA maybe, I don't know. I should get my facts straight, but yeah, it seemed like it was just kind of an
Come on
ask-
down.
Yeah, an ask and you'll receive type situation, which is crazy to me because I remember watching Audio Tree sessions for bands.
You had to be touring a bunch.
And they had like requirements on their website. It's like, if you want to inquire about a session, here's some like here's a checklist. And it was like, you know, like maybe be on the road 200 days out of the year. And it was like, okay, no.
Yeah. More about the surreal stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that was
Audio Tree
so
session
surreal.
was-
Because I've wanted to do something like that. Like, I also love the Little Elephant sessions. I would love to do that someday if they're still doing it. I don't know. But like, I've always wanted to do something like that. So to do Audio Tree was like, it was so wild. I feel like we're probably the smallest band to ever play Audio Tree. Like,
It was our first out of town show.
and it was our first out of state show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't tour. We don't tour.
Texas is big.
We
Texas
will,
shows.
but we haven't toured. We like way back in like 2012, me and Jake went out on like a little 3-stop Texas thing, and then in 2019 we went out as a full band, same thing, little 3-4 stop Texas thing. That's it though. We've never done the touring thing, and that's probably also why you know.
Well, we all were working, you know, full-time gigs, and for a really long time. And you want to hear something really funny? I quit my job in 2020 to tour.
Oh.
Yeah,
my God.
February.
I quit my job. Like we went in to record, like we recorded the record the first time around on like the week after I quit my job. Basically, it was kind of like the start, like the kickoff to like, all right, I'm doing it. Like we're doing this.
Man, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I
But-
guess just like we haven't really said anything about it because like stuff has been going pretty okay for us. But yeah, this year has been just like brutal as far as like plans getting just wrecked. Like,
Yeah.
and we didn't have anything concrete. It was much more ambiguous, and it was like once the album drops, we'll start going. You know, we'll start working, start going, all this kind of stuff. And the album was supposed to fucking drop in like April
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it was like, man, yeah, this year has been horrible.
No news there.
No, I know.
Has there been any talk about like your first tour or anything like going back?
Very
like,
little.
yeah.
Very little.
Yeah, it's so hard to.
We're currently considering a first in-person show, but that's not till like late September, and we're not even sure if we're gonna do it. And it's very much a local birthday event. You know, it's like this annual birthday event that this guy throws. So it would very much be like easing out. Like, is this gonna actually take? Is this gonna keep going? You know, like my nightmare is just setting across, and then you're in fucking Montana or something, and then like shit shuts down again, and you're if that's like if that happened, that would maybe kill me.
That should happen to so many of my friends on the way to South by Southwest.
Right.
Yeah. And then they just had to turn around.
Yeah.
Print up all this merch.
All that driving, and you just have to drive back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, work plans canceled. We were supposed to play South by our first time. We've never played South by. We were gonna play Topshelf's South by showcase. That was gonna be really cool.
We were gonna talk to them for the first time and meet them all.
Yeah,
for the first time.
I think that's probably where they were initially planning to kind of like approach us about, you know, business or whatever, because like they emailed us like, would you be interested in playing? And we were like, of course. Like, and then that did not happen. And then I missed the fucking email for the e-gig version. Where they emailed us like, hey, you know, Friend Oasis got canned, but we're keeping it alive. I just completely missed it, did not respond, so we did not play it. Like, there goes
our chance to get signed to Top Shelf.
Yeah, I really felt like so dumb, and like I remember that I think I DM'd Kevin about it, or maybe just the Top Shelf account, but I was like, I'm so sorry, I just saw this, like I feel like an idiot, and they're just like, it's no problem.
I feel like the whole future, like with like in like Furnace Fest, as soon as I saw that announced, I was like, are we?
Oh, that's the name of that one. Yeah.
Could not remember the name of it the other day.
Is that the thing in Alabama?
Yeah.
Under Oath is playing that.
Yeah, a lot of big bands are playing that.
Every band is playing that. Yeah,
every fucking band in the world.
That For Your Health tweet was so funny about like
all
of them being at risk because of age.
Yeah, all the performers are at risk.
I do remember Jordan from Binary like quote tweeting it and being like, "Sorry, Grandma."
Oh man.
You know, but yeah, I definitely do want shows to come back. Like, I'm not in the camp of like, no, nothing, don't do it, nothing, don't do it. Like, you know, because it's like, if all the performers are vaxxed, if like vaxes are rolling out and the crowds are, you know, more and more getting closer to a majority vaxxed and people are still masking up, it's like, I was saying to Jake the other day, it's like all through this, like, you know, we haven't been doing shows or anything, but people are still going to work and all this stuff. Like, at the same time, you know, there's like it's like an odd kind of like this, but no, never that. And it's like, but like, you know, you're working in a restaurant full of people eating and stuff, but then you won't play show. And like on my side, it's like I haven't made a cent for a year. It's like I'm dying over here. like I need like and like when shows come back, like I can start making money. I can sell some shirts and stuff. So like I definitely want them to. But I'm not trying to just like rush out and like play the first show and like.
No, we're planning a tour for May.
Yeah, when's the Record Setter Face Rec tour?
Yeah.
We're doing
it.
Hey,
look, if you don't know how to defend yourself,
this is a screamo show. A couple things you need to know about a screamo show. One, I'm not gonna face you guys at all. Two, we're not gonna talk, and once we start playing, we're not gonna stop. So listen up.
Most importantly, there might be some mentally unstable people who are armed in the audience.
That's true.
Presumably, a small handful of mentally unstable people with firearms.
Assume one of those unstable people is maybe me. I'm kidding.
Been talking shit. Expect to at least get smacked.
Yeah, it's gonna be Record Setter, Face Wrecked, and Trapped.
Yes.
Hell,
Yes.
But it's just gonna be the vocalist from Trap because the rest
Acoustic
of the band,
solo act. He's great.
Awesome.
He's great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get Chet Hanks to run our merch table.
Chet Hanks getting like the fucking Aryan font for the White Boy Summer merch was insane.
Oh my god, I don't know who approved that. That was...
So yeah, just cancel us.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, but first tour, that'll be really exciting whenever that happens.
Probably overseas before fucking US, if we're being honest with ourselves. We'll get vaccinated and we'll fucking leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to tour Japan if anyone's listening in Japan.
Australia, New Zealand.
Anywhere but here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Sorry to go back to Godzilla vs. Kong, but you said New Zealand. And it just reminded me of that asshole little fucking New Zealand kid that I wanted to die so bad in that movie. 20 times more annoying than the podcaster. The podcaster's Paperboy. He ruled. All right. Are we heading to the news block?
News
Are we? All right.
Got
Kyle's
hot takes.
Yeah, there has been some news that's
Steaming
accumulated.
hot takes.
I feel like the biggest thing and the biggest surprise is that Origami Angel announced their double LP Gami Gang that is coming out at the end of this fucking month.
But,
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest though. Is it really a surprise with the way that those guys fucking work? Like,
Yeah.
They've probably been sitting on this.
They've
for
had
a
these songs
year.
for 4 years.
Yeah.
4
They
years.
have another
They had
8
6
albums.
other
right?
EPs
Yeah.
lined up after this.
It's like it looks like the MCU calendar for them.
Yeah.
They've got
Yes.
releases scheduled into like 2030.
It's so wild. It's
No.
it's such an interesting model.
But honestly, we love Gaming Gang.
Yeah, super sweet.
Ryland has been telling me about this record since like 2018. That's how long it has been.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
believe
doesn't,
it.
that doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't come about overnight. That's for fucking sure.
Mhm.
So
yeah, songs like that aren't just
Especially
sprout up.
self-producing. I mean, that's another level of. I can't imagine the headspace of that. But the song, though, it doesn't speak, I guess, to my taste. I love the energy of it and the chords and the tone of it, and it's doing exactly what it's trying to do so perfectly.
Yeah.
And then the thing that really sold me on it, to be honest, is I clicked on their live feed and they were playing it live, acoustic, just Ryland, and it sounded exact. It was perfect, amazing.
Yeah.
It's like they're just an amazing musician, and like they use very interesting chord progressions, and they're doing the kind of teen show musical sting and like theme song.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's so spot on.
Very
like,
Disney
that
Channel.
that's what they're doing. It's and people are hugely fucking with it, obviously. So like nothing but respect. Like
Yeah.
super awesome.
Something that like I feel like people don't pick up enough on is like Ryland's vocal harmonies are very like 60s like
Yes.
bubblegum.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. A lot of like Bee Gees and Beach Boys and like that kind of stuff
Like
in there.
yeah, or like even like something like Sha Na Na or something.
Yeah.
Like there's like they're very like well sculpted. But trust me, if Neutrogena Spectre isn't like your taste, I'm sure there's like literally 9 other songs on that LP that will be. At
Yeah,
least.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I like
There's
the
so
song.
many
like,
different styles.
like to be clear, like I like the song. I think it's a great fucking pop song.
Yeah.
Like it's so clear and so smooth. And again, I say like the voicing of the chords, like they're beautiful. Like it's great. It's great.
So
100%.
people don't like the album art or the name. What is it? Just the Gammy Gang?
Yeah,
Just black on.
I like it.
Yeah,
They,
yeah,
they
I
peak
like
at
it.
it.
People are like it's lazy.
I remember when I first saw it, I was like, is this like a placeholder? Like, is there going to be like real art coming? And like, I guess like, no, but
Doesn't need it.
yeah.
That's okay.
When you're writing and recording a double LP, who has time for the art? Like,
They could.
I
they
like
could
it. I
mail
think it's
to
cool.
me.
Yeah.
They
Like,
could mail it to me on a scratched up CDR, and I'd still
Exactly.
be like, "This fucking rule."
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I like the cleanness of it. I said here, I'll pull up the message to Marty actually, because I messaged them, letting
It's
them
just
know that we found a VHS,
it's such a
in case they
contrast to
wanted
what we
it.
did, what
and they
did
said that they
before.
couldn't because they picked up the double LP. I said, hell yeah! I love the packaging for it, the plain white and black so much. That's what I said, was that I love, like, that's what I like about it a lot. And I like there was like a half and half vinyl, it's just white and black, and like I think it looks awesome. Just that stark, clean. I like it, and it's also a classic thing of like the music, like with an album cover like that, the music definitely has to speak for itself. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think
it's
like
cool.
I think like this is almost like a reaction to like the Summer City, because Summer City was so well thought out, and like
There's so much stuff with it.
Yeah.
like down to like the liner notes and like the LP jacket on Summer City, there was like details, and this came out with like no hype. There was like, check back here in 24 hours, then it's like, oh, what are they gonna drop another jersey? It's like, no, it's the fucking album.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what my read on it was. Like, okay, they're doing like the simpler, no bullshit route this time.
Yeah, and like
I
when
do
a
think
band
it's interesting that they are putting out a double LP, considering that they more of like an EP band until Summer City. And
Which is a short LP anyway.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a quick. It's a tight listen for sure. So I think it's interesting. I'm curious of how much ground they're gonna cover, like sonically, and like where they're gonna go. If there's gonna be slow stuff, there's gonna be some textural stuff.
well, the second song is much slower.
Oh,
that
I
they
haven't heard the
released with
second
the
song.
single.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
it was 2 songs on that they released.
Oh.
Yeah.
That kind of
So
flow
I'll go listen
together.
to it. I'll go listen to it.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like
bad
I
at
could talk
keeping up
about
with
it.
stuff.
I feel like I could talk about it a little more now since it's like rolling out, but I did the bio forum for this record. It's 58 minutes long, and it feels like the 12th wave emo pop Zen arcade is how I would describe it. The last track is the longest song, and it has like one of the most intense payoffs I've heard on like well earned payoffs I've heard in an emo record in like 3 years.
Nice.
So
Saying something, because their last closer was like a huge payoff as it was already. You know?
It makes I think this album makes Summer City look like any shitty album by like a DIY band that tweets. Fucking blank could write X, but Y couldn't write blank whatever for clout. Like it just is. It's so far beyond any of this bullshit.
Everything they've done is so good.
They were the first band I saw in 2020.
Yeah, we saw them with Short Fictions at
And
we
Two
didn't
Nights.
play that, did we? We
No,
just
we
went.
just hung
Yeah,
out.
we were just there to hang out. But Two Nights played that show too.
Yep.
And Rylan and the drummer's name's Pat, right?
Yeah.
Both were going crazy for Two Nights, and a good chunk of Short Fictions also were like going crazy for Two Nights. That's always fun to see, like touring bands come through, and if Two Nights plays a set, and it's like I'm always wondering, do they know Two Nights or not? And it's like it's always
Two
good
Nights
when they-
Two Nights are like the definition of like low key legends.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
they're very much like all the band's favorite band.
right. I mean, they're the best twinkle emo ever.
I think it's Darkle. I think that's Darkle.
I mean, you're not gonna catch an argument from me. I fucking love
Yeah.
Darkle. I miss them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Darkle so much. I guess Two Nights is a bit more scrammy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you want to separate them out, I guess but yeah, Two Nights is just like the best band. They're so good.
I remember when I was like young and like first heard about them, I was sort of like intimidated by them.
Yeah, me too. Whenever I first met them and played a show with them.
Imagine standing there watching them play, and then you've got to like load in after.
Yeah.
Yeah, your shitty Joyce Manor ripoff band is up next or before,
After
and
they
you're just
play,
like,
literally their sets are like 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right.
Like you blink and you fucking miss it.
I'm glad there's been a lot of Two Nights talk. I was
Yeah, I hope
100%.
Parky listens to this and just cringes the whole way through me talking about them. Because, like I say, I don't think they know. Like, they're joining Record Setter, and we've definitely played a lot of shows, and we've chatted. But we're like band homies.
Peers
but
and
like
friends, but
we don't like know each other that well. So like I don't even know if they know like how much I do really like Two Nights and Fleshborn. I mean, I think they do because I've told them, but I don't know if they know. Like I don't know if they take it like seriously, I guess is what I mean. they were legitimately like inspirational for me. Like, and now they're joining my band.
Just drop some shit like, yeah, I want to collect their fingernails clippings just to like absorb some of their power.
Yeah.
At practice, we should all clip our nails, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
just, like sweep up the practice space with your.
I'm always just very concerned with their nails. Like, are you sure you don't need to clip them? Like,
I got you.
You're looking a little long.
it doesn't get in the way. Like when you're playing, like you don't need to.
Let me bite it.
Find it. Oh god.
Sorry, Parky.
Yeah, now I hope they really hear this.
Yeah.
I hope so too. Welcome to the band. We're very stoked to have you if you're listening.
And then the other thing you have here in this quick hits is new foxing, which is the response to the new foxing has been really annoying. Not that the new foxing is good. I don't want their manager to listen to this episode and yell at me on Twitter again. But the new song is good. But I just saw so many people being like, "Oh yeah, this is the moment where emo enters its indie rock phase."
Oh, you're
Yeah.
referencing that? Yeah.
That
Yeah,
happened.
I read that on your newsletter as well. You talking about that?
Apologies to Keegan, because
No, don't.
because I
Don't.
do feel like I disagree with him constantly. Very nice guy. Love.
Yeah, they're
him.
like, but they're like the. We were watching. It was a term I haven't thought about in literally probably a decade because I haven't watched wrestling in forever. Turning heel, like being a heel character.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Keegan is doing, like because the takes are so ridiculous. Like it's just like it's like by design to just like get like a lot of reaction. It's
Yeah,
like
to me, it all started with the fucking Glassjaw sucks take.
Right.
yeah,
That I
exactly.
could not abide.
Because
And
Glassjaw
then-
sucks is honestly like even if you don't like Glassjaw,
Yeah, that's an
saying that they
insane
suck
take
is
to
like
say
is
that they're not
ridiculous
talented.
to say.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
do love Glassjaw, so maybe there's a little bit of that.
And then the Newfound Glory is better than Blink-182 take. Where is
also,
that coming
like-
from?
I don't know. And I'm not even a big Blink fan or Newfound Glory, but like
At-
one is a
at their-
legend and one was a band. Like I don't know.
at
You
their-
know what I mean?
At their peak, Tom and Mark surpass Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and Morrissey, Marr songwriting teams. I fully believe this.
I saw
not
the one
kidding,
that was like Bayside's actually not a good band, and I was
That
like,
too. That one did get me. I almost responded to that one, but I didn't. Because Bayside is good.
I
That-
think Bayside's wildly consistent.
That tweet could only have been made by someone who hasn't cried to blame it on bad luck. You know.
Yeah, Bayside is good. I saw them live once on the co-headliner with Silverstein.
Yeah.
And that was great. Polar Bear Club played that show as well. They're like
And
one of
the
my favorite
Swellers.
bands. And the Swellers.
That
Yeah.
show was wild.
This sounds weird, but I really have always thought of Bayside as like a polished, more outwardly pop version of the Promise Ring.
Yeah.
Like I
absolutely.
hear like crazy similarities, especially in the vocals,
Mhm.
because they both kind of have that lispy Muppet vocals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's exactly
Um,
what they were trying to do. They were definitely pulling that like that group of bands like Promise Ring and Texas is the Reason, like those,
Yeah.
and those are some of my favorite emo bands. So yeah, I definitely like Bayside. Like
You can
what's
hear
the
it
name
in the
again?
bass and guitar interplay, especially.
Second
Yeah.
Wave. I don't know. Is that
I'm not starting this conversation. I was joking.
so? My wave starts back with Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, the true original Rite of Spring. Stravinsky's
We're
Rite.
actually more in like the 57th wave, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we're rounding about the 60th wave since Stravinsky's Rite.
My wave starts with the sonic tears of the aliens as they were constructing Stonehenge.
My wave starts with the monolith.
It's my wave or the high wave.
Episode title done. Check.
There it is.
My wave for the high wave.
Yes,
That's
please.
so good.
We
Love it.
just watched Fred Durst's directorial debut the other day, actually.
Yeah, the
This is a-
Fanatic.
Is that the John Travolta movie or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was wildly entertaining.
That's one word for
I feel
it.
like it had to be. He has like a genuine kind of eye for direction because the
Oh,
music
his
videos-
directing is fine.
Yeah, the movie is directed competently enough. It's really
Yeah,
Travolta.
His directing is completely fine. It seems like
Right.
he can keep a movie organized completely fine. But yeah, the script, the premise, and Travolta's performance,
let's
it
be-
was
let's-
just like a
let's-
triple
It's
threat
the
of
swing.
like
It's the swings being taken by Travolta.
going all out, like Oscar, like Oscar bait type performance, like trying to it. It was so entertaining. I definitely recommend it. Full recommendation of The Fanatic.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten to listen to that new Foxing yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Fox.
I had no.
shit! Oops.
I had to go
So
back.
you,
and look
you
at
guys
what we were
didn't
talking
ask
about.
what we've been listening to, thank God, because like I've been
We're trying to talk about Fox.
sorry. Let's talk about boxing. I'm bad at keeping up with stuff. That's what I was gonna say. I'm bad at keeping up with like the current music scene. I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
I
feel-
saw the video.
Yeah, it's like a
with
7
the
minute.
sword, the
Yeah,
lawnmower and stuff.
it's a very cool music
Whatever
video.
was going on there, it was cool, and the song sounded awesome. I've always liked Foxing as like a very textural band,
Yeah,
even
it's
though the
really
Albatross was like a little bit more there to grab onto, but
Mhm.
or a little more standard. But I've always liked their kind of soundscape and the sonics that they use. And obviously the voice is amazing. The vocal performance is always amazing. So yeah, they're a really cool band.
It's nice to see that there's an emo band that like genuinely feels like ambition in like the same sense as like the late 90s kind of like the thing that everyone's been comparing them to is Radiohead, like
Yeah.
OK Computer era.
Mm.
Like I do think they, regardless of how I feel about the last Foxing record or Radiohead, it is nice to see like a band kind of push against those boxes in a way that feels dissimilar to even like the fifth wave emo bands around right now that like just don't give a fuck about genre. Like
Right.
it feels like deliberate formalistic experimentation, not just not knowing the rules, so you make it up as you go along, but like really like bending the rules because you know them very well.
Yeah,
Which I think you can
for
only
sure.
do once you
We're
become like a
literally,
very
this is
strong-
literally something I talk about all the time, because yeah, like clunkily shifting from like a pop punk part to a twinkle part to a scrams part doesn't really do anything for me, like as a musician and as a listener to music. And then when people like review the album and they talk about like, you know, seamlessly blends like genres and stuff, but then you listen to it and it's like these stops and starts.
and it
and
sounds
I'm
like
like-
crotch duster. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, is this like seamless? Is this like blending stuff, or is this just like pastiche?
Yeah,
like,
mishmash
you know
of-
what I mean? Like, and so like comparing it to, I guess, like to my like our own record, it's like I wanted a lot of different ground to be covered in I Owe You Nothing Too. I wanted a lot of dynamic ground, a lot of emotional ground, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't want it to feel that way. Like, so I like had to figure out how to kind of work out those middle bits between like the happy part and the breakdown, and like how do you make it feel like it needed to go here? Like, how do you not just stop and play the fucking breakdown? You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, Foxing, like you're talking about figuring that out, and they like use forms of like emo or indie structure, and they kind of invert it or subvert it. They like they definitely know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and like crafting a piece of music. It's great.
It's very indicative of like someone who's like mastering their craft.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
But then you
Love
look
to
at
see
like
that stuff.
Smidley, and that's like a whole different other version of Foxing, and that's
Yeah.
where I was like, damn, I really trust Foxing's universe, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because that's maybe the one. Is it called "Fuck This"? That's the one
Yeah.
song that I really remember
Yeah.
of theirs, like from way back. Amazing song.
But that's sad. So there's a 7-minute track featuring Yoni Wolf from the band Y. That was out via a Ouija board riddle and now it's like public and everything. But yeah, the album's still not announced, so I feel like every Friday, like we could have a new Foxing LP out.
Yeah. I wonder if they're waiting for
May 7th is the next Bandcamp Friday, so
I did
Are they-
see. I saw someone tweet not to be too much of this person, but the fact that Censored Band has a 7-minute intro track is insane. So I'm gonna assume that maybe that's like the first track on the album. And
Yeah,
the person
Also
referring to
not
Foxing.
insane.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's like these people have never listened to Panopticon, you know?
yeah.
Daughters.
Daughters. I do also miss the days when Daughters songs didn't go for longer than 36 seconds.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like their 03 demo a lot.
Yeah,
Just
the-
absolute mania.
I like the last As the Sun Sets record, like right before they changed to Daughters. It's like a real good middle
okay.
ground between those two styles.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Oh, it's really good. They kind of came up in that same like New Jersey half death metal, half mathcore scene, like
Yeah.
like Dave Woody was part of. So it's really like creative and heavy and hooky in like the most offbeat, idiosyncratic type of way.
I'm going to embrace my Blink-155 and not afraid to be a poser and say I've only heard one song by Daughters.
Whoa!
Yeah.
They're a very cool project. Like
Yeah.
like if you listen through their discography and like how it kind of
Changes with each
different
release.
flavors,
Yeah.
but they still sound like Daughters. It's
Again, people that are clearly like masters of their craft.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine a lot of modern heavy music without Daughters, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially like that wave of like late 2000s stuff, a la like Me and Him Call It Us,
Oh,
that
yeah.
sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
It feels very like the
Even but even stuff like Tony Danza and stuff, Ellie, like all the chugging,
Yeah.
sweeping, like all that stuff. It's like the dun 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 dun, like that kind of style. Like they
Yeah.
cleaned it up, but it's
Yeah.
like that's where it fucking comes from. Just that spastic guitar style.
people point back to that and compare it to like oh, that's coming from like Ion Dissonance or the Red Chord. But I feel like a lot of those bands are pulling from Daughters, like even
Yeah.
more than like any of that early deathcore stuff.
And I mean the Red Chord is fucking sick.
Oh,
too.
Red Chord fucking rules.
Yeah, I love
except
deathcore
for
and
the fact that they
metalcore.
use
It's
power.
like the best. Like that's like I said, I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, me and Jake were always just
That's our classic
metalcore.
rock.
Yeah, I had the realization the other day. I was watching the Devil Wears Prada set, and it was like they were playing music I've never even heard of theirs and stuff, but I was still watching it and loving it, and I was like, this shit is my classic rock, dude. Like
Right.
old Under Oath and Devil Wears Prada, Job for a Cowboy, Whitechapel. That's my classic rock. Like I love that shit. I love that shit so much.
Fear Before.
You notice Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle
actually
left.
Kyle is actually physically left the conversation.
Fear Before the March of Flames is such a good fucking band, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Always
band's
open
really good.
mouth.
One of my favorite bands ever. Definitely. I didn't even mention them on that tweet, did I? But definitely like directly influential to this release of ours, like that sound and everything. I love that band. One thing, talking about metalcore, I want to say, I don't think once on a single episode of the show that Stick to Your Guns has ever come up. And
I don't
it
think so.
blows my mind that like not a single guest or anyone like ever has mentioned Stick to Your Guns. Like, do y'all like Stick to Your Guns?
I don't think I
Did
ever.
y'all?
For me, they're kind of in the same realm as the Ghost Inside, where they are definitely a better and more consistent band than the Ghost Inside, but I had already been into like DIY hardcore for a while by the time they were
'cause
really
you got
starting
into
to get
it
big.
really young though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were, and it's weird because I also got into like My Chemical Romance after I was into like
Right.
American Nightmare and stuff. But I still loved My Chem. For some reason, like that wave of like Stick to Your Guns and like even 100.
100.
I didn't really dig 100
Yeah.
until they went shoegaze.
See, I don't
Uh,
like that wave of music either. That kind of like industry hardcore. like big room hardcore.
Big room
Hardcore.
Arena core.
I'm not big into
I
it either,
still-
but for some reason, Stick to Your Guns. Like I just fucking love Stick to Your Guns for some reason.
What's that one album of theirs, Diamond?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? That album has some really solid songwriting. And I do think Stick to Your Guns feels a lot more authentic than a lot of the other bands of that like gateway to hardcore.
Yeah,
like,
more
way.
genuine.
Did they have like a traditional like hardcore background? Because I only heard of them
Yeah.
when
Well,
like neon metal.
They
came
started
up.
like they started when they were literally
Like
children,
16,
like
yeah.
13, 14 years old. And
Yeah.
so no, not really, but kind of. And
They're all
Like,
from Orange County.
they
so-
have albums like before the Hope Division and stuff that are definitely more kind of standard hardcore metalcore mixed, but it sounds very California. It sounds very LA. You can kind of tell that they just like became an industry band very quickly and blew up very quickly. Bitter End, their vocalist, did a guest spot on that song, that
God.
cover and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit. I mean,
Bitter
there's
End's
a little
okay.
bit, but they've always kind of been like the poser hardcore band to like.
Or
the
they've been like the one that
true-
kind of strata. Like every time we saw
Yeah.
them, it was like they were supporting like a metal act, and they had
Right.
like, another hardcore band, like a local hardcore
Yeah.
band opening.
It would be like they'd be playing there before Winds of Plague, and he'd be standing there with a Bane shirt,
God,
and
Winds of
standing in front of
Plague.
him there would be like an Under Oath shirt, an Asking Alexandria shirt, and then like Have Heart.
Right.
And it was kind of cool. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like they brought a lot of kids into it and maybe like opened their eyes up and stuff. So I respect acts like that, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel positively towards like Stick to Your Guns and Stray from the Path. I feel like they both kind of
Yeah,
have
I like them too. I like
their
Straight from the Path
hearts.
as well.
their hearts in the same place as opposed to like I remember Scott Vogel like totally shitting on the Ghost Inside, being like, "That's your sister's hardcore," which I thought was like really funny. But you never really heard people like shitting on Stick to Your Guns like that.
We grew up listening to like the Christian metalcore, and so it was like we would go see someone like For Today and fucking Stick to Your Guns is like the opening act, and it was like very eye-opening in that regard because like we were coming from like a sheltered background, and you go see someone like Jesse screaming at the top of his lungs about veganism from the stage, and it's
Right.
like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
I bet also though that Jesse wouldn't kick your ass for being gay.
That too. That was
Exactly.
actually the first. That was the first thing we heard him like preach.
Yeah,
on.
he was talking about Prop 8 way
Yeah.
back in the day. He was talking about Prop 8.
Did he say that at the For Today show? Because that would have
I think
been
that
I'm pretty
was at
sure.
the For
I'm
Today
pretty
show.
sure.
I think he was doing it. Yeah.
He was-
Yikes.
like in direct response to that, dude.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That rules.
I mean, this
That
would have
rules.
been way. This would have preceded anything with any drama with For Today. This would have been like 2007 or 8 or something. But yeah, I mean, he had a whole thing about like something. I don't even remember what he said about trying to dictate who can love who or something like that. And he was just going on about it for a minute, and then they played a song.
You know, people always forget like all that like mid era, like the 2006 era deathcore does have like a fair amount of legit hardcore roots.
Oh, yeah.
Like stuff like Animosity or even like Suicide
Love
Silence.
Animosity.
I know
Love
Mitch
Suicide
was like
Silence.
a big 18 Visions fan. I always call that first album The Cleaning because I think it's really funny.
Yeah, I fucking
but-
love deathcore. Like Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, like All Shall Perish, Impending Doom, any of it. Job for Cowboy, any of it. I love it. Yeah.
Is that sound coming back? Because I feel like that is sort of parallel to Easycore, which is coming back.
Yeah, I think deathcore. It's people aren't really calling it deathcore though. Like
Yeah.
people were calling it scrams and like. I guess more because of like it was like a DIY thing, but like meth and black nail, like that sounds
Tweak.
like fucking deathcore to me.
I remember
Is-
being like Tweak, Black Nail, and Meth like are all like in the same band lineage, and I'm thinking like, what do all these names have in common?
Exactly.
But
But it's not like coming back and like a metal injection is going to cover your band way.
It's pretty.
I mean, hazing over, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Mouth breather. It's kind of wrapping up in that. I don't know. People aren't saying deathcore. I feel like, I guess for some reason.
really
but
great band from Dallas called Creeping Death.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a
Creeping
good band.
Death are so fucking good. And I mean, kind of, I feel like there is like that kind of newer wave of like truly hardcore influenced death metal acts. Like obviously the new Gatecreeper record, which has been like a smash hit, or like the kind of like the Maggot Stomp scene, Frozen Soul, and all that.
Frozen Soul is so awesome live.
I know the Insect Warfare guys are in a Maggot Stomp band, Malignant Altar. That's really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Big Insect Warfare fan, being from
Oh,
Houston.
same.
Me and Jake are from Houston, so
Yeah. That band's so good.
I will look that up.
Yeah, I do kind of just feel like in general the mid 2000s styles of popular heavy music are coming back because the people who are in the bands coming up got into heavy music through that. Like the new Wrist Meat Razor song literally sounds like Bullet for My Valentine. That's the kind of thing that you're going to be hearing is like people in DIY hardcore bands putting like the catchy Cradle of Filth parts in their songs.
Yeah. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
We need to give Kyle like 2 minutes of Chili Pepper talk.
Yeah, Kyle's got to get some chili
Don't
pepper
make
talk
me.
out or he's gonna die. So
I've just been biting my tongue over here and my mouth is bleeding.
Kyle's favorite bands are the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Weezer, and then Marietta.
Marietta, I'll give you that.
Wait,
Red Hot Chili Pepper and Weezer I'm no longer in my early college phase.
KP, do you like Ned's Atomic Dustbin?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, they're a band from England from the early '90s who kind of occupy this sound between like dancey electronica and punk and funk and shoegaze.
Okay.
So basically like Red Hot Chili Peppers but smart.
Yeah.
You know. If you are ever feeling nostalgic for Red Hot Chili Peppers but don't want to actually listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers,
That's me.
check out their album Godfather. I think it's very good.
I'll listen to that for sure. No, but yeah, that's what I like learning guitar on. It's just like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Weezer.
I mean, John Frusciante is objectively a very good guitarist.
Yeah.
Like, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are, except for Anthony Kiedis, who has no actual talent whatsoever. Everyone in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Do you think that's true
mainly
though?
good.
Do you really think that's true, Ellie? Do you really think that?
I think he's surrounded by so many actual like really good musicians that it's just like.
But also like his charisma and stuff. Like he's
Charisma is not a talent.
Okay, but do you think that anyone could replace Anthony Kiedis in that band?
Absolutely not.
I think like that's where that mental exercise kind of ends. It's like you can't
Right.
have that.
Yeah,
band
it's just
without
like
him.
he is irreplaceable. Like that voice and that nonsense.
Wait, hear me out. Red Hot Chili Peppers, but with Daryl Palumbo singing.
Who is that?
Oh yeah, I don't know who that is. That's why I've been quiet this whole practice. I was like, I don't know who that is.
Oh, the singer of Glassjaw.
Oh,
okay. I don't know people's names, y'all.
Yeah.
I that's why this whole podcast you'll hear me saying this band's singer or this band's guitar. Like I don't know people's names, like unless it's under oath, like active under oath members. I don't know their names.
I could hear him saying, "Suck my kiss."
I would want to hear it.
What's his other
my
band's
kiss.
name?
Suck my kiss.
Head Automatica.
Head Automatica. Yeah.
Head Automatica rules so hard.
Yeah, they have some really cool songs.
That album's
That's
good.
some like really cool pop music. Talking more about foxing, Head Automatica and Glassjaw. That I kind of like Smidley and foxing. I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of think of it similarly, where it's like this other dancier, maybe more fun project than foxing. You know, like Smidley is for.
Just because Head Automatica made me think of Sass, I gotta bring this up. The other day, no, this was yesterday, I saw several people on my Facebook saying, yeah, the Blood Brothers suck. I felt like my frontal cortex had been like completely removed.
Were they young
that
people?
it was like around my age. I feel like that final Blood Brothers record was like smack dab like when I started getting into like really underground shit. And that final Blood Brothers record is obviously like one of their more popular ones, Young Machetes. And I always have felt like Blood Brothers was like very, very formative band for me and for a lot of other people.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just weird to me that someone could think they're boring because their songs
Boring?
are so
Boring.
yeah are so. They said
People just have
boring.
so many
Specifically,
bad
they said
takes.
boring.
I think
That's
you
so
could say
weird. I could see
obnoxious.
someone, I could see someone saying annoying or something or hard to listen
Yeah.
to, but actually
They
saying
said
boring.
boring. Their songs go in 10 million different directions at once.
Yeah.
But they all are still grounded in a central like sonic idea. Like hearing someone say that like the title track off Burn Piano Island Burn is boring, nonsense.
That's a very weird criticism to rail
Yeah.
against some Blood Brothers to
It's
call
the-
them
it's the
boring.
It's the same person who.
The only
who-
thing I
who
could think
loves
of-
Zack Snyder's Justice.
The only thing I can think of is if they find, because like as they went along, their guitar playing got more skeletal and minimal. Like
Yeah.
as their career
It's
went on,
'cause-
that's the only thing I can think of is if they don't like that kind of minimalistic line.
They had it's because they had a Vodalata brother in participating. Is because they had that's why they had that weird spindly guitar.
Yeah,
Progression.
it's so great.
Yeah.
Is it
Fucking
these Arms Are
Escape
Snakes
Man?
or Hot
Oh, so-
Cross that share members? Or am I making both of that up? Because I like both of those bands as well. And I always group Chemical Brothers, Hot Cross, These Arms Are Snakes all together. I don't know why.
It's Cody Vodolato. I forgot what his other.
Waxwing, I think is his other thing.
That's the other Vodolato.
Oh, Rocky. Well, Cody Vodalato was in Waxwing for a little bit.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah,
I
yeah,
love all that
it's,
music, that late post-screamo type dance
Yeah.
screamo stuff. I love that kind of music.
Cody's in Cold Cave,
That makes sense.
and he was in that Merge Records indie band Telekinesis.
Never listened to them.
Not that great.
You know who is great? Jaguar Love.
Love that album.
Neon Blonde too.
That was a MySpace song of mine. Headlines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, what were your let's do MySpace songs.
I did not have a MySpace, so I cannot participate.
What are you talking? Okay,
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have a Facebook till like 2009 or anything like that. I was a loser, y'all. I don't.
What would your MySpace song have been?
We already talked about Red Hot Chili Peppers. So.
Which song though?
Stadium Arcadium probably just came out, and it would
Yeah,
probably be
that's
some
accurate.
B-side off that because
Okay.
that's what I like the best, I guess.
Ellie.
2006. I don't know. I'd want to say that like by 2009 or so, my MySpace song probably would have been something like "Seen Is to Be Seen" or whatever.
Yeah.
But in 2006, I gotta be honest, it was probably like a Fall Out Boy B-side.
Hell yeah.
B-side.
It was, yeah, it was probably like it's not just the side effect of the cocaine. I think it's love or one of the acoustic ones.
My first MySpace song ever, I remember exactly what it was. It was "Hurt." It was Johnny Cash's cover of "Hurt."
Wow.
That's one of my favorite songs of all time is that cover, and it was the first song I ever learned on guitar as well. And like, yeah, that was my first MySpace song was that. And then I remember I changed it because it quickly became like, oh, you want to have like the heaviest song as your MySpace song. So
Right.
it was Norma Jean, one of their songs. It would have had to have been off Redeemer, not
Right.
Bless the Martyr, but it was one of the songs off Redeemer, I'm sure. And then I definitely know at one point Nailed Dead Risen was my MySpace song as well, from Impending Doom, Nailed Dead Risen, the title track off that album. That just starts with him growling as loud as he can, "Nailed, Dead, Risen," and then the blast beats come in where the whole band comes in on Risen. It's the best intro to a song ever.
Kyle, did you have a MySpace?
Me, yeah, and
Yeah.
one of them was the Neon Blonde song, and I
Oh,
think one of
yeah.
them, I don't think I ever had like a heavy or like something like that, but I know it was definitely like a Mates of State song at one point too.
Oh, that makes
So
sense.
apparently you have to have organ in your band for to have it be my MySpace song.
Nice. Organ's a great instrument.
This is definitely, I think, like a little pre MySpace, but I know that I was listening to music with Dina in the car the other day. I put on the first Hot Heat album, and she was like a boy that I was talking to on AOL Instant Messenger told me to listen to Hot Heat, and that's why I like them now.
That band has screamo cred.
They do.
Yeah,
They did a split with the Red Light Sting.
Yeah, and they were on Dim Mak, right?
I probably Dim Mak. The Steve Aoki's label.
Yeah.
Because they're part of that. Also, that whole like Pretty Girls Make Graves kind of wave.
Mm-hmm.
But they were. I think that Red Light Sting record came out on Sound Virus, which is a label that is like really hard to even find online, like vinyl rips of nowadays. There's like this one band called Celaya Shawcross that I've been trying to find a vinyl rip of like for literally 7 years. It's so hard.
Jesus.
That's what it's gonna be like for us in like 10 years. People are gonna be looking for IOIN rip, and they'll never find it.
All right.
No, I just
Do
can't
we-
wait to flip my test presses in like 5 years and make some money finally.
Okay, so we're still talking about foxing.
Yeah, about foxing. The sword in the video. That seems to have started kind of
I
a
think
trend,
where
maybe.
we were going with that conversation is that they've become the Arcade Fire of emo, right?
Mm.
Oh,
Are they the new Arcade Fire? I know. I think I know 2 songs by Arcade Fire. No Cars Go, and I can't think of the other one.
probably something from Funeral.
Crowd.
I mean, Funeral, I always think of as the good Arcade Fire album.
I just
like-
I've never something about that sound. It's something about that type of music. I've just never connected with it. Really.
Grey's Anatomy for.
There's also that band Minus the Bear. Y'all remember that band?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the fuck minus the bear.
What?
Xbotch.
Yeah, no, I know.
I didn't know
but
that.
It's awesome, but there's just something about that sound of music. It just doesn't grab me. To like really pull me in, like you know. So I'm bad at. I don't know a lot of indie stuff.
It lacks a bit of aggression, so maybe that's why. You know.
Well, no, it's not
They were
just
kind of
that.
they were kind of aggressive live when I saw them in like 2000.
Yeah, minus.
Like their live set was like
Bear. Yeah.
definitely like we said earlier, one of those bands. It's like really good live and kind of sounds a little bit different live that you kind of have to hear.
Sure.
Mhm.
But their recordings are definitely like super tame.
Yeah, it's not just the aggression, because like Page of the Lion is like in my top 3 probably acts of all time.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's there's something else. I'm not sure. It's the
Yeah.
guitars, the delay, and stuff like that. Kind of. I'm not sure. Something about the Sonics. They just don't grab me the same way as other stuff does.
Mhm.
But it's so big. Like it's such a touchstone for so many people, and then for me to just like really have no experience with it, it's a little alienating sometimes.
And you grew up in Houston.
What does that have to do with anything?
Isn't Win Butler from like? He's from like the Woodlands. Like that's what the album Suburbs is about. Is like the suburbs of Houston.
Wait, did he
Oh.
move to Canada?
Yeah, I think he's
Oh.
a Texas.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know. I know they spent some period of time, like some formative years outside of
In the
Houston.
suburbs. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy that he could be from Houston, move to Canada, and then sound so soy so soon. It's wild. I'm joking, of course. I'm gonna snack on like Morningstar Farms bacon as soon as this is over.
Okay, I think we should finish out with some quick hits. There's a new old Michael Sarah Palin track that released, and they announced that they're working with the Moon Physics label project.
Oh, nice.
This
Yeah.
is Kyle.
And
Yeah.
physics is awesome.
Yeah, Kyle's gonna be all over this one.
I like Michael Sarah Palin a lot. I got a bunch of my friends who aren't really even into emo on that train a few years ago. and they like them a lot too. I still haven't listened to the song, or I think I did for a little bit, like in the car in passing, but I need to give it like a true listen. But yeah, I don't know if they're like back to like you said here. I don't know if it's like if they're like back together or not.
They are.
Okay,
Like,
so there's
it's
like
just
they're in the
pandemic time, so it's hard to like be productive as a band.
They're one of the few like celebrity portmanteau names that isn't insufferable.
yeah.
I thought of one the other day. If I remember it, I'll message it to you. I'm not going to try to take time to remember it right now. It was really fucking good, though.
Natalie Portmanteau.
No.
That's great.
No, it was really good.
So was this Michael Cera Palin? Was it supposed to be like a part of a bigger release, or are they just like, here's an old track?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was like a B-side or just like an unreleased thing, but
I think there's a track that they had written but hadn't ever
Recorded it.
polished or put out in the world yet.
Yeah.
So
Nice, cool.
yeah, I thought that track was really good, and it made me listen to them. I didn't listen to them for like a really long time. But yeah. Good Sleepy. I don't think we've really talked about them that much, but they announced their debut LP for No Sleep finally, and that is coming out this spring as well.
Yeah. I don't think
don't
I've
sleep
ever
on it.
I don't think I've heard of or heard Good Sleepy. But
Were
No
they on
Sleep
that
is-
split with Nope, or am I thinking of like a
Yeah,
different?
they were.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I like Nope a lot, actually.
Yeah, they're part of that like not as twinkly, but definitely like really catchy and
Yeah.
slightly more aggro wave. Like I kind of like put them in the same type of realm as like Equipment.
Yeah,
Who I
that's
also like decided that I really like. I put off listening to Equipment for a long time.
me too. Until that EP came out.
because-
They have really great
Yeah,
hooks. They
they
have
do.
great hooks.
And that's the second track on that EP has like such a fucking good build up. I'm a sucker for that like mid track tension. So
Mhm.
I saw it was way
They're
a
also
long time
good.
ago, like that Minecraft gig where Equipment, they were like doing songs like, but it was like all these different styles. Like it was like one was in like a country style and one was in like a chip tune style, and like I think
Damn.
most of them were like chip like kind of remixed like that. It was awesome. It was so good.
But yeah, Good Sleepy.
Yeah, No Sleep is really scooping up. They're doing stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Want that Jail Socks record to drop though.
same.
You know,
Drop it.
been a
already.
while.
They the No Sleep signed Dad Bod, who I think Roddy hipped us to on the freshman class, which is a name that I wouldn't, which is a band I would never check out based on that name.
yeah,
But
It's a name.
if someone recommends it
Yeah.
Yeah.
with good
Yeah,
faith,
I'll check it out.
yeah.
this third one here I'm very excited about because I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah,
I
it's-
haven't either. I'm looking at this too, and I'm like, is this?
So it was on the God City Instagram that
Oh, that explains that. I don't use
and-
Instagram.
and God City was like, or Kurt Blue was like, haven't recorded these guys in 15 years, and it was fucking
Yeah.
gospel.
What the fuck?
I've talked about gospel a couple times on this podcast, not enough, but anyone who is listening to this who has not heard the gospel album The Moon is a Dead World, I encourage you to do so, if only to listen to the drumming,
Yeah,
which is the best drumming I've ever heard in my entire life. It's so goddamn good.
and even if you
Gospel is
aren't like a
wild.
Scrams person, like you will like that record, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just white belt, yes. You know?
Like gospel is really cool, and Kurt Ballou, like, I mean, obviously, is like as like a celebrity level producer of the scene and stuff, churns out amazing sounds. Like I like Nails. I fucking love Nails. Like the guitar tone on whatever that album is called, After Unsilent Death. What's it called?
Abandon All Life.
Nastiest fucking guitar tone I've ever, like, just the most unruly, untamable tone. Like, amazing. I and Converge is, you know, another like
Converge is Converge.
probably top 3 band for me. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I keep saying that all these bands are my favorite band, but it's like there's a few
Your
bands,
top
like I
three
say,
includes
I'm bad
everything.
at keeping up with current stuff. I don't spend a ton of time like listening to music and like hunting for twinkly emo and stuff. So it's like, yeah, there's like a few bands that I'm just absolutely obsessed with, and like Under Oath, Converge, Nirvana.
I think about how good Nirvana is like once a week. They're such
You
a
said
good
what?
band. I just said I think about how good Nirvana is at least once a week. So
I
fucking-
think about Nirvana probably daily. It's not an exaggeration. Like it comes like something comes through my head of like, you know, this thought or this thought about a song or this thing, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like a Nirvana. That's like a Nirvana
Yeah.
thought. You know, like it's like
one of my very first favorite bands. Just one of the first bands I ever like got really into like bootlegs and live recordings. I wanted to track down everything that Kurt Cobain ever like was in the vicinity of being recorded. Just
Yeah.
I had that one box set that was like three CDs and like a DVD when I was growing up.
with the lights out.
Is that the one where they're wearing the suit and tie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That one has a ton of great like underrated tracks on it. Pen Cap
Yeah.
Shoes on
Yep,
that.
yep. One thing about the gospel thing though is, do you think this could be another like Jerome Stream scenario, where
yeah,
like
I think that potential is always there. Unfortunately, that it's not going to be that great, and it's kind of a cash in. Who knows?
Well,
I
gospel
mean,
aren't asking people for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true. I mean, yeah, that's
but
very true.
I think like most people would wish or I think most people wish that Jerome Stream didn't record the LP just so we could have that perfect catalog sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I've also heard like a lot of people say that they genuinely like the new Jerome Stream stuff.
I think it's fine, and it's I feel similarly about it to Under Oath. Me and Jacob talked a lot about this with Under Oath coming back and putting out Erase Me.
Yeah.
And as a Under Oath super fan, like Erase Me is,
Kind of hard
it
to listen
hurts a bit. Like it does. Like it hurts a little bit. And then watching the making of that album, it hurts a lot. And then, but then, the other thought is like, who fucking cares? Like they've been a band for so long, they deserve to live off their name alone. Like they've been doing this for so long. Like who cares? Like honestly, play the festivals. I hope that they make more money than they've ever made. You know what I mean? Like who cares? Like good for
Yeah.
do it. Fucking do it.
Those other records are still fucking great.
Yeah,
Like
amazing. Every record
Yeah.
except Erase Me is like an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing record. Like
So Will Yip raised $90,000 for the AAPI fund, which is like one of the Stop Asian Hate funds, and
Yeah.
it's crazy like that. Like Will Yip of all people,
so much money.
yeah. And it was via like a raffle and donations.
Did y'all see the stuff they were giving away?
Yeah, it was
like
insane.
there was some amazing stuff like in there. Like even just some of like Thursday giving away like test presses and stuff. Like even just like small stuff like that. It was just like such cool shit.
And like gear too.
Yeah,
I thought
and that was
super
cool.
obviously like the big ticket shit. Like that was so cool. But like everyone just like even if it was small, like had something cool and unique to offer up, and like it was really cool to see. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of those bands like Touche, Law Dispute, and all that's like that wave, like that time from that, like that's like a very fixed moment in my mind, like because it happened like right when I was getting into it, and it was like happening, and like all those bands were like the shit, and they were like the new thing. So then to see like years and years later, they've raised all this money for this cool cause, and it's like, yeah, it was awesome. Like it was
Yeah.
so cool. That shit really did blow up.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it's like a competition to see like who can raise the most money, but like it.
It's just cool that so many people are participating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
like
just
it's
a
a
big
guy
group
from like
effort
our
of, like,
scene.
And it's also like the biggest acts like of this kind of music basically as well, like kind of doing this. So it's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a Pitchfork interview with Will that came out yesterday about it.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
I read through that.
I don't think we need to spend much time on this because like I don't think any of us really had any personal
Right.
moments with it, but yeah, the guitarist from Oso passed away last week. Tavish, yeah. Obviously, he had many close friends in
Huge impact.
that world,
Yeah.
and the things that people were saying, especially like Jade's statement on Facebook, was just like
Jade's statement had
absolutely
me
crushing.
Like, oh,
Yeah. Do not believe that we have a personal story at all. I think there's maybe a chance that we were under the same roof at some point, but I had never met them. But yeah, it was tough to see, even not knowing them and all the people.
It was the vol, yeah, just
It was just the
volume.
it was just the amount of
Yeah.
kind of outpouring, and like it's even people that like most of the people that were posting about it and stuff, like I didn't even know, but you know, Regina was affected by it fairly directly, so that was a part of it. But yeah, it's hard to see like someone go and it's like that much of an impact, like
yeah.
that much of a kind of resonating like effect after the fact, and it really makes you like think about the kind of person that they were, even not knowing them. It's like you wonder like the kind of person that they were. Like it seems like they were just awesome. Like I don't know, it sucks. It really sucks.
It makes you feel like you want to have as much of a positive impact on people before you go. You know,
and so young.
Yeah, super young, super talented.
Just a extremely positive force who will be missed.
Yeah,
rest in
peace.
power.
And then Harmony Woods put out a surprise album just with no announcement. Just hit Spotify at midnight, and a lot of people are saying like it's one of the best things that's come out this year. I don't think we've really talked about Harmony Woods at all on this podcast, but she's always been running adjacent to the scene. I know like she's worked with Jake from Modern Baseball a lot.
Yeah, I've never listened to Harmony Woods. I took Social Norms' side in that beef. Fuck. I don't think anyone remembers that.
Know.
I don't even know about that.
Oh man. No, back years ago. I think like when we were doing like episode 3 of this podcast. So around that era.
Yeah.
This guy who makes music under the name Social Norms said something like really creepy up towards Harmony Woods, like on Reddit, and Harmony Woods, I'm not sure how old she is, but she was like pretty young at the time, and this Social Norms dude was like, I don't know, 30 something, late 20s, early 30s. So it just kind of had like a pulling my collar kind of feeling to it. And she like tweeted about it, and people were flaming him. I don't know if people say flaming anymore, but I'm saying flaming. And he messaged the Reddit mods to be like, can you guys please tell people to stop? It was just like super funny because Social Norms also just re-releases the same album like over and over and over again. Like
it does the mass follow and unfollow thing.
Yeah, no, Harmony Woods is cool.
I still need to listen to it.
Yeah, the music's not super duper up my alley, but it's definitely like adjacent to my alley, and I can recognize that it's like really well done songwriting.
Yeah,
I think more what I was like kind of taking with is like you kind of mentioned it, Ellie, but it's just so young. It's like cranking out like music of this quality, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes next.
Yeah, I like Harmony Woods quite well overall, honestly. Really good pop songs, like sad pop kind of singer-songwriter style. I like the palette that they use a lot. Like the production on the new stuff sounds really good, but the old album I'm more familiar with, and I like the guitar playing a lot and everything, and the vocal performance a lot. Really hooky, good songs. The new album, it seems to be really catching on, and with like Bartiz behind it and stuff, it's gonna like get more eyes on it. And I think that she definitely has potential to like really blow up, really blow up. It seems like Taylor Swift and co are kind of like her inspiration at like the root of it maybe, and I feel like she maybe has potential to like make that kind of jump, like over to,
she's
like,
on that
major
same
stuff.
Phoebe Bridgers trajectory.
Exactly.
But,
Yep.
But
and that's awesome.
Yeah, that type of thing, I respect it. you know, but that whole Phoebe Bridgers Harmony Woods thing, it's just it's hard for me to get into because I hate women.
Yeah, so clearly. Me too, Ellie.
I mean, as long as she doesn't start smashing her guitar, I'm good.
Don't take
As
it
long
too
as she
far
doesn't
now.
try to do
Yeah. Poor
Yeah,
Kyle.
I've always kind of related Harmony Woods to like Nervous Dater though, as being like a similar kind of sound, and I love Nervous Dater as well.
I also adore Nervous Dater.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That album from
so
way
glad
back.
they have an album.
What was it called in 2017? The other one, I can't remember now.
Don't Be a Stranger.
Yeah, Don't Be a Stranger. God, I listened to that so many times.
The
Like,
title track is just unreal.
it's
like,
great. Yeah, that's another great kind of like emo pop thing.
Yeah.
Which it's not a genre I listen to that much of, but yeah, Harmony Woods, Nervous Dater, really good shit.
Yeah, I definitely think like the new Harmony Woods album is like the one that I think a lot of people are gonna like take seriously and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah, and like she has the picture and the statement, like the kind of album statement,
yeah,
like going out all together, and that's like the kind of shit like broad audiences, like they will just like
Eat that up.
yeah, absolutely, like they'll just glob onto that. Like it's yeah, like I say, she has like crazy potential. I think
Mhm.
like it's awesome. Yeah.
yeah. I really want to live in a world where we can hear Harmony Woods on the fucking radio. That'd be dope.
That would be awesome. I thought Oso Oso was gonna do it for a long time, and they still have.
Still
I mean,
can.
they still have time.
yeah,
They still have
can.
plenty of time, but yeah, I feel like an Oso Oso song getting on the radio is you know potential as well, just because they're so clean and so well structured, so accessible.
I really feel like we're heading towards another moment, kind of like in 2001 when
God,
you know Thursday and Jimmy Eat World and all that stuff started really breaking through, or like 1991 when all that alternative stuff started
Yeah.
breaking through. I just
it
feel
would
like
be
we're heading
awesome.
another-
Like if we come out of this pandemic and guitar music has a boom, like that would
Guitar
be really
music didn't
cool.
die during the pandemic.
Like it would be really cool to for, and then you know just for our little side of things, you know, for screamo to get that little boost that it inevitably would as well. Like
Yeah.
if stuff got big like Mallcore did, like screamo being adjacent to that, it also gets like this boost. Like that would be so great. Like if I could get my life settled out financially,
Yeah, I'm afraid
that would be
we're just gonna-
amazing.
We're just gonna
Big
sell
screamo
our
money.
guitars and hyper pop.
Yeah,
it's gonna I mean the revolution is gonna look more like 100 gex than some people would prefer, probably.
Yeah.
if
I'm
MTV
fine
plays
with
music,
that.
it's gonna either be For Your Health or 100 gex.
Well, no,
I-
it's gotta be
oh.
with, like, a 30-second. You gotta make it just long enough for a TikTok. You know,
Right.
You gotta start making singles for TikTok.
That's already happening. That fucking who's that corpse husband guy, the e-girls are ruining my life guy.
Oh, we should announce Record Setter is starting a TikTok.
No, we're not.
This
I'm not
32-year-old
on the TikTok. I'm not on the TikTok thing. I don't really back
I'm
it.
too old.
All right. Are we on the last topic now?
Yeah, I already exited out. It's karate, right? Yeah, the Numero group announced essentially that they're gonna handle the karate discography, and they put out like the LP or the first LP and the EP out on Spotify for the first time ever. People of the washed up emo ilk are very excited about it. I mean,
I
karate's been
Literally
underrated
don't know if
forever.
I've ever listened to much of them.
They're very good. They honestly like once you get past the earlier much more like straight up emo stuff, they almost kind of remind me of like Rye Coalition in that it's like really rocked out math rock.
I remember
It's
this
like
one. I
Steely
listened
Dan.
to Cancel and Sing
Steely Dan.
because they were long. I remember I thought that this was cool. That Cancel and Sing EP from 2002. I remember this. It has an 11-minute song and a 15-minute song.
That's tight.
I remember listening to that, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking at this other stuff, and I'll have to listen through because I don't think I'm familiar, unfortunately.
I mean, it's weird because it's like they were definitely not like popular, but there's definitely like there's like a very loud subsection of people that are like
There's a
It's like a
karate
cult
cult.
band, like
yeah.
Karate's the best band ever. It's like 100 people screaming Karate's the best band ever.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever heard of them. It's just other people talking about how good they are.
I didn't know this until recently, and it was kind of wild to figure it out, but like my college girlfriend's favorite song ever was the song by the band called The Secret Stars, and I was like and she was like, oh, it's like this old punkers like indie rock project, and I was like, oh, that's cool, it's like a sweet song. And I didn't know this until last month that it's Jeff Farina's other post karate band.
That's funny.
That's cool.
Because like I thought it was like some like guy from like the Casualties, because she's like, oh, it's like an old punker, and it's this fucking
Old
emo
punker.
band.
Yeah, I'll have to listen now that it's more accessible on Spotify.
Yeah, I definitely had to get it from Sophie's Floorboard and keep it on my phone.
Right.
So
Oh yeah,
the space.
Floorboard is sick.
The Casualties suck so bad. I'm sorry.
I
I
know.
just
They
like,
were
felt
such
like
a
I had to
bad
say that.
band, but like there's no way to ignore like or deny the fact that like I heard them in 6th grade and I had never heard anything like that or seen anything like that before.
It's like
And like I had a punk phase like all through kind of like middle school, like being very into the Unseen and Casualties
I was
gonna
gonna mention the Unseen.
Addicts and the Exploited.
Exploited, yeah, that's the next one.
two like kids that were raised in like a Pentecostal church.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was
Yeah.
absolutely like
I
we could not wrap our head around it and could not listen to enough of it fast enough.
So SLC Punk opens with Sex and Violence by the Casualties, like over like the opening credits sequence.
Yeah.
And the first time I had seen that movie, I had never listened, not by the Exploited, not the Casualties. I'm so fucking sorry. But yeah, I had never listened to the Exploited when I first saw that movie. And I was obsessed with it, watched it like 20 times immediately after I first saw it. And I just kept thinking that the lyrics of that song were sexy fellas. Just over and over again. Sexy fellas, sexy fellas. And I was like, that's cool. I mean, people talk about early 80s hardcore and punk being like a little homophobic sometimes, but you know, that's gay representation.
Sexy fellas.
Then I went through a long period of if a member of your band has a mohawk, I'm not listening to you. I went through like a real long period of that.
That's my rule.
Just because that drunk punk shit got like so exhausting, and I just associate it with the kids shows who had like the ultra clean new leather jackets from Cash for Chaos, and like who were like really open about yelling the N-word. Like,
yeah. It was such a big thing for a bit there, though. Like that type of punk, like that just like shitty punk. Like it was like so popular for a minute.
Sid. Shit kicker.
I think my favorite part of like transitioning from punk into hardcore is that I just didn't have to hear people talk about Sid fucking Vicious anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
Like-
it's so annoying. The Sex Pistols suck.
Is it that? Did it get brought up that much? I was never
Yeah.
like type of music
He's
ever.
like the Beatle.
That person, yeah.
I mean, but it's because like only because I was transitioning to hardcore from like very entry level punk, you know,
Mhm.
where like
Yeah.
every time it was like that early 2000s period where like there was always like these Amazon list manias made by like 40-year-old men being like, here's
Yeah.
what real punk sounds
Yeah. Oh
like.
God. Yeah.
You've never heard of these bands in your
Yeah.
life, and it's just damned.
The Damned. Oh, that's another favorite band of mine. Machine Gun Etiquette.
Oh, yes, yeah,
The deluxe
fucking-
release of that. I had that.
yeah.
I smuggled that into my Pentecostal house, and that shit changed my life. That like the Damned are so good.
People don't respect how influential the Damned was on.
You don't hear
not-
them brought up that much, really.
Yeah,
Oh.
but goth is super influenced by The Damned, and so is fucking like almost all of American alt rock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Bob Stinson from The Replacement said, "Yeah, I stole my entire style of playing from Captain Sensible."
Yep. That guitar playing is so cool. I was just talking about that the other day when we were watching the Teenage Halloween set on Audio Tree. Actually, their lead guitarist was reminding me kind of that DM style, that kind of punky shred style. And I was just like, I wish I could fucking play guitar like that. Like, I can't play guitar like that. But, like, I just wish I could kind of punk shred like that.
Oh, you talked about them on the, well, maybe it wasn't the last episode. You were talking about Lurk a couple episodes ago.
Oh, yeah.
Similar shred style on that Brainless.
Yeah.
Or, is it Brainless?
If you've never listened to The Damned, all you need like to start is Smash It Up. That's a perfect song.
That song.
Smash It Up and Anti-Pope are like
and New Rose rounded out to a top 3.
Yeah. Suicide, whatever that one is, that it's a real short track, but he says these are the hands of a demented circus clown.
Oh shit.
Wrapping around your neck, stuff like that song, and it's that kind of waltz. Dun, 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 dun. That song is like haunting.
That's what I mean. Like I can't imagine like that final Nick Cave, fucking not Nick Cave, but the final birthday party album, Release the Bats. Like I can't imagine that without The Damned.
Yeah, that kind of theatrical, cinematic flavor to their albums and stuff. It's awesome. They're so cool. And they like wore costumes and everything. Like
that song is literally called These Hands.
Oh, it is called These Hands. Yeah, that's such a cool little moment in the middle of that album.
You know what other first wave punk band fucking like shreds and no one talks about? Dead Boys. Sonic Producers.
I feel like Sonic Producers is the only one that people talk about.
Yeah, but that whole Young, Loud, and Snotty album is fucking great.
I've never listened to the New York Dolls. Do I need to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's so half and half.
I'm gonna say that you should, just because when I was a kid, I had a friend who was real into punk, and he came in wearing a New York Dolls shirt, and it's just a bunch of dudes in drag.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I listened to it, and it sounds nothing like you would expect it to sound, but it's interesting. Like their aesthetic versus their sound and their personality and stuff. They're interesting, but I feel like they were kind of a gimmick punk band.
Well, there's some point where like listening to like the Sex Pistols where I like gave up when I was a youth. I was like, this is not good music, but the aesthetic is what I'm coming here for.
Yep.
Right. There's very few, I think, early like first wave punk bands that like truly hold up. Like I think the Buzzcocks really hold up.
Yeah.
They're a good band, yeah.
I think a lot of Crass's lyrics hold up. The music was never meant to be listenable, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all just gotta get more fucked up.
Yeah, but it starts getting cooler when you start getting into like the power pop and post punk like Wings. Like the Jam have always been really fucking good. The Undertones were a really good band.
Stooges are the exception.
Stooges, the Wipers.
Yeah, the Wipers, Wire.
I like Television, which is more on like the indie side, but yeah.
Yeah, Marquee Moon is a solid record. I used to really love the Ramones, but now the only record of theirs I can truly go back to is Road to Ruin. That's like
the
only one that I think like stands up all the way through.
Yeah, that early punk, I mean, it's just not all that melodic. A lot of it's not that pleasant to listen to. And again, I feel like it was more of like a live thing. Like it's like you see it live and it kind of clicks and you're like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And it's like, that's kind of where it got its fire from, more than just like listening to albums.
Yeah, I didn't bring up the Stooges because most people kind of consider them to be like proto punk, but I do think all three of those original albums hold up pretty well. Especially Funhouse, which has like just fucking like riffs on it. This is a
deathcore.
wide ranging episode.
I know.
Yeah, you don't have to do any editing either. You just like upload this.
Just upload
We
this
literally
3-hour.
just crossed 3 hours on the
Yeah.
recorder.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is a sick episode.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking us.
Yeah, absolutely a pleasure to be on.